We're going live again. One more time. Okay. How do I share the actual? There we go. Okay, cool. We're going live again. One more time. All right. Nice. Share. Copy. Discord. How do I? Open up trading view. Great. Damn, that was annoying. All right, cool. I just dropped the link. Drop the link. Are you guys ready? Everyone ready? Y'all ready, Freddie?
Yeah.
Why can't I see you? Or because I'm not sharing my screen on here. There we go. Cool. All right, I'll give everyone a couple minutes to get in here. You open up the chat on YouTube. Okie dokie. All right. We're good. Good to go now. What's going on? Do you still trade? Very, very obviously, I very much still trade. That hasn't gone anywhere. What's up, Lyle? What's up, Jack Wilson? What's up, Sonny's Trading Journal? What's up, bro? If you signed up properly, you got an email. You get an email with the trading platforms. So it's I'm not gonna say too much, but it's the best platform there is. So if you're trading Forex, you already know what platform that is. Yeah, so I want to give it a couple minutes for everyone to pile in. I have Josh here and Hans. Um, I'm gonna be answering any questions that anyone has. I'm gonna go over, obviously, just go over the markets for a bit, answer questions. Let Josh and Hans, take the stage for a bit, go over, what they look for and things like that. Um, just this Sunday, this is what I like to do on Sunday. I'm just gonna go through my entire process of what I look for, how I scan for data and things of that nature. So I'll give everyone a couple more minutes and we will move forward.
All right. Who's live? Who's live? Let's start this thing.
We're here, brother. We're here. We are
All
here.
right, perfect, 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 perfect. Okay.
I'm just sending out the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta start this thing all over. I ain't gonna lie, I like deleted the whole story post. I'm like, ah
Yeah, I
shit,
know.
looks like
I
we're
know.
not doing
As
it to
YouTube
you.
changed, they changed their permissions because I'm logged in as like an editor manager, but I didn't have the owner login, and I needed to reset the password. I'm not gonna go through all that right now, but I was able to go live previously, so I thought it was all ready to go, and unfortunately it was not. So,
Crazy.
all right. So, I'm gonna go over, just a little, like, I'm gonna walk everyone through my process. This is what I do kind of when I look at the charts, and then we'll give it to Josh and Hans as well. Kind of they can do their yapping however they how they
Man, I
feel.
need the energy up, bro. I need that energy up right now, bro. Come on. Nah, we not doing it like that.
I didn't have my coffee, bro. I
I don't
got
care, bro. I
I
don't
got my
care.
coffee, bro. I didn't have my
Drop the
coffee.
fucking storm on him, bro. I'm
Yeah,
tired too. I'm
I know.
tired too, bro. But we gotta push. We
All right,
gotta
so
push.
it's Sunday. This is the first thing that I like to do on Sunday is I like to go to straight to Forex Factory. That's the first thing I like to do. Like for the start of the week, I want to know like where is the volatility going to be at, or like how much volatility should we be expecting, right, in terms of red folders. So, um, yeah, of
All right. Somebody is saying Fortune's Funding have any Instagram account?
course.
Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about. We got to make sure we take care of that for real, for real.
Who said
So here's what I'm
who
about
said
to
that?
do.
Who said that?
Somebody in the general chat was like, "Do we have an Instagram?"
Oh yeah, hundred
That
percent.
just means we're not showing enough face. That's why we got to run the play.
Yeah,
Just like I said in the group chat,
yeah.
we're gonna have to have some community engagement to make sure, like they're saying, "Yo, just got my 10K, man. Fortune's Funding favors the
Well,
bold.
I will
Let's
say
go."
that there's a lot of people in the chat that just can't read, or
Yeah,
they lack
yeah.
capacity of mental cognition because
Understanding is not their strongest
yeah,
suit,
yeah.
which is
So you
gonna
you
be
could show
difficult.
someone a blue chip right in front of them, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you guys have a blue chip?" Like, they don't really understand. But it's all good. So let's. I usually tick off the orange, and I mean the orange folders are okay, but let's see for the week for this week until Saturday. Um, all right, so CPI is on Tuesday. Wednesday's PPI. So nothing too crazy. Unemployment claims on Thursday. So with that being said, okay, so CPI obviously an important release for sure. The last couple releases have been a little lopsided. I mean, inflation definitely was ticking up for a bit. Obviously, with the tariff news and everything coming up, people getting ahead of tariffs, putting extra orders in, things like that. Um, Inflation did tick up quite a bit. I would
Yo,
say
yo,
it's
yo, guys, my
definitely.
bad. Shit, my bad, guys.
Yeah, so inflation has ticked up quite a bit. It is subsiding a bit as of the last release, so we'll see. I mean, it's definitely reaching a bit of a bottom. It accelerated, for the better half of last year, and remember, it's still elevated. So another thing that people need to understand is that, like, while inflation looks like it's going down here because the number is going lower, you have to realize that this number is year over year, meaning it compounds on top of each other, right? So if you take something that costs $1,000, let's say in let's say in March of 2021, something that cost $1,000, if you go to the next March of the following year, that item will now cost 7.9% more based on CPI is a basket of an index, right? So if it goes from 1,000, it'll go to $1,079, right? And then from March here to the next March would be an additional 6% on that last price, right? So it's not that it went from 1,079 to 1,060. It means that it's 6% higher than the last price. So that's something that people need to understand with inflation, is that it's compounding. And so even though, yes, the number is going down technically here, it's still elevated from what it was previously. So we're still a ways away from the Fed's 2% target, and inflation is still elevated. So even if it starts to accelerate from here, that's very bad. So inflation is still very much a problem. The Fed is very cognizant of that. And yeah, so it's a really important release. You know, it's a lot of scrutinization on this release. So yeah, not too much. Obviously, the data is the data, right? I don't know what the data is going to be in my own head. This is my thought process, right? So I don't know what the data is going to be. I just react accordingly. I can make a prediction of what I think will happen based on if the data is above or below. So I don't always like to trade before the release. If I'm in a trade prior to the release and I'm up a good amount, I'll hold the trade. But if I'm near break even or if I'm just near the entry, I'm probably not going to hold that trade because the conditions when you're trading news are very shitty, right? You're going to get slippage, not going to get filled properly. So I prefer to stay away from the markets at those times. So unless I'm already in a trade that's up a good amount, like a healthy amount, enough of an amount where I'm protected essentially. So with that being said, I like to trade the session before the news, like usually London session into New York is kind of like where I find my sweet spots, and then I'll wait for the actual data to come out. So if this data comes out, it's forecasting 2.7%, right? If it comes out at 2.7, you're not going to see much of a move because what is forecasted is what's priced into the market. Now, if the release were to come out underneath the expectations, right below expectation, that would be considered as inflation is weakening, right? It's less drastic. So there's gonna be a lot of information, but basically, you have to, whenever you're looking at economic data, you have to apply it with the lens of what's going on in the world. And what I mean by that is right now, the lens of the Fed is that inflation is a problem. So if inflation is getting better, that means the problem is reducing itself. Now, if inflation were to come above expectations, that means the problem is getting worse. So what does the Federal Reserve do? What does a central bank do? A central bank is there to regulate the economy, regulate monetary policy. So with that being said, if inflation is still gaining strength, the Fed is going to act accordingly, and the markets are going to price in more aggressive tightening or rate. Basically, what the Fed can do right now is they have three decisions, right? The Fed, they can cut rates, hold rates steady, or they can raise rates. We're more than likely not getting any rate hikes unless we had a drastic problem with inflation, like it accelerated extremely rapidly. So at this point, the last two options are going to be a rate pause or rate cut. Pauses right now are seen as tightening essentially, or like more quantitative tightening, or more just not like a risk off environment, meaning that's going to be good for the dollar and it's going to be bad for the indices, risk assets, US 30, Nasdaq, S&P, crypto, etc., etc. So if inflation is you're going to see the opposite if it's below expectations, because that's seen as the problem is getting better and now the Fed has less pressure on them to act accordingly. So that would mean there's more foreshadowing or more pricing in for a rate cut, right? And rate cuts will be good for risk assets, crypto, indices, etc. Bad for the dollar, right? So if inflation comes out, basically, if this number comes out above 2.7%, the dollar will rally and the stock markets will fall, right? And so will crypto likely. If this number comes out below 2.7, the dollar will fall and the risk assets will gain strength on the foreshadowing that the Fed is going to the Fed is going to reduce rates basically. So a little bit of information. I don't want to go too deep into it because it's kind of boring. Same thing for PPI. It's the same thing. Unemployment claims is important, but this is not NFP. So NFP was last week. I will say NFP last week was interesting because the employment rate went down. Right, it basically last month's reading was 4.6, and then this reading was 4.4. So that's pretty significant. That's pretty, I would say, optimistic, euphoric. So those are the main things to pay attention to right now is inflation and labor, and then the Fed meetings, obviously. But the Fed is watching inflation and labor data closely. That's the main point. Um, okay, so that's my first thing. So now that I understand what's going on for this week, I want to plan accordingly. I want to take trades before the news or after the news. I don't want to get caught in the news. I don't want to get caught in the, you know, in the chop of everything. So I'll either trade Monday, Monday morning New York session or Monday evening like London session or Tuesday morning technically, and then I will either hold my trade into the news if it's running well, or I'll wait for the news to come out. If it comes out a certain way, there may be a trading opportunity there, PPI as well, and then we should get some clean moves after PPI on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So probably not too much trading between Tuesday to Wednesday because of all the news. Sunday into Monday or after Wednesday into Thursday is I plan my week accordingly. I want to plan the itinerary of the week. Like, what am I looking for? What days are good for me to trade? Where can I execute? And how should I behave in the itinerary of this week? Okay. Um, so yeah. Now, let's talk some charts here. Let's talk some charts. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to see? I haven't traded much indices recently. Um, I'm gonna delete my chart right now and let me just go strictly on Nasdaq here.
All right. Yeah. Obviously, me and Josh, we do trade indices more often. I have some of my strategies that I want to talk about, but I'll let Josh go first. But guys, let's also make sure that we're not just breaking down the charts. Let's have like more of a uh, conversational way of doing it, like a podcast with the charts. I'm not sure if you guys are down for doing it in that manner, just to make it more entertaining, more gem filled, because we don't have to just like kind of just wait on each other, but just like piggyback just to make it more of like a sports center type of vibe. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, yeah, and people want to ask questions in the chat as well. Feel free. Highly encourage that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But gentlemen, let's go ahead and now that everything is working fine, I do want to thank y'all for coming out on a Sunday like today. Somebody could be watching football right now. We could be in the gym or whatever the case is. But here we are giving back to the people, no matter the delays, no matter the setbacks, no matter whatever it is,
Yes,
we
sir.
press on. And that is the reality of what makes a trader. As I was looking for your link, James, it took me a while, which we got to get that taken care of. It's supposed to be on top of the first page of YouTube, man. What's up with that? You gotta call YouTube and let
What
them
do you
know, man.
mean?
They
What do you
playing
mean?
with you, man. I was looking for James Storms on YouTube, and it took me like a
Oh,
good
yeah,
minute
yeah.
to
I
find it.
know, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, crazy. We're gonna have to reach out to YouTube, man. They disrespecting the king right now, man. Uh, Josh, bro,
Type
how you
shit.
doing, fam? Did you go to church today, bro? What's the word?
Yeah, yeah, I did, bro. Yeah, yeah, and funny enough, it was there was a lot about finances actually. Funny enough, but yeah, I think 2026 is going to be a great year for everybody, and yeah, I think everybody's going to be able to soak up a lot of game in this specifically from all three of us. Make sure you guys are asking questions. I'm watching the chat over here on my phone. Make sure you're asking questions. Make sure you guys are taking advantage of this. You got three people who have done this for a while, verified, tried, and tested. So, ask questions. James is the fucking king of fundamentals. Like, like he says it's boring, but man, like you need to listen to that shit. Cause like I know fundamentals to a certain degree, but I actually learned a lot from James watching him over the years. When he explains fundamentals, he breaks it down in a very keen way and very genius way. So yeah,
Appreciate
pay
it, man.
attention, guys, ask questions. Yeah, absolutely. And understand that, right here, just to give props back to James as always, like he's moving with a lot of integrity and he has full reign to do whatever he wants now. So when it comes to fortunes, guys, like lock the fuck in. You're gonna get paid out. You don't break any rules. So,
Yep.
you know, take that into account as well. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, yeah, I feel like we should all pay attention, see what James is seeing in the markets.
Yeah, and yeah, a little bit about. I mean, I don't want to take. I'll talk about it later. Like, but again, we're gonna be launching, guys, with Forex and Futures challenges. So we're gonna be starting out. More than likely, we're gonna have 8 challenges in total. Okay, so just bear in mind, we're gonna have one challenge on both sides that is it's more expensive, but it's very non-restrictive. It's static drawdown, no consistency rules, nothing like that. Then we're going to have a 1 phase and 2 phase that are going to be cheaper in price, but they're going to have a little bit more limitations on them. And then the goal is to have instant funding on both Forex and futures side as well. Okay, so with that being said, yeah, I'm going to jump on a little bit here. So US 100, US 30 as well. I haven't updated my chart here in a little bit, but it's tricky to trade these at all-time highs. Personally, like I think things are relatively optimistic right now, especially like typically you have to understand as well that markets have seasonal tendencies. So you should really backtest them often because very often heading into the end of the year and the first couple weeks of January is a very bullish sentiment for risk assets like the stock market. So I've been relatively bullish heading into the end of the year, since we've been in this range right around here. I do think that there will be a tremendous opportunity to short these markets at some point during this year. Like typically like the third week of February is one of the worst weeks historically for the stock markets. So I'm like I said, I like to plan things ahead. I like trading is very like reactionary and things like that. But I don't want to put myself in the wrong place at the right time or the right place at the wrong time essentially. Like I want to know like where my probabilities are. So I trade very simply. I trade supply and demand. Um, and structure pretty much. So we have a bit of supply here on Nasdaq that I'm waiting for price to kind of come into at this point. I think it's very likely price taps into this area here, which is already very close as it is. I would say I would be looking for price to come into this supply, and then I'm looking for price to come into this supply and react accordingly. Like create some structure. Hold on, sorry. Create some structure like this. I don't know why it's not doing what I want, but something like this. What's up, Andrew? This guy's walking.
This guy's on a treadmill. I love
Yo,
it.
yo, what's good?
Yeah, so I'll be looking for price to come in here. I mean, when I trade supply and demand, I typically like I'll start on the weekly. Like it's very simple the way I do this, right? I'm taking a wick here, an exhaustion wick, that has some type of mitigation and confirmation. So price creates this supply, it confirms it with a reaction, and then now we need price to mitigate it here. And then what I typically will do is I will refine the zone into the just make it tighter and better essentially. So we're not quite there yet, but the tighter, better zone would be this zone up here. So essentially what I'm looking for in a nutshell is price to come into a supply or demand zone, um, create some type of structure, and then create some bearish price action or bullish price action if I'm looking for buys. And then once price breaks structure, I'm scaling down to the lower time frames, and like let's say price made a lower low here, and then if I went down to let's say H1 or H4 and then we got some type of breaker structure internally right around this area, my trade would look something like this, and my stop loss would be going above the highest high or lowest low after that breaker structure. And then I would be targeting the next nearest demand zone. Essentially, would be probably like this would be like my first target would be right down here, and that's pretty much. Obviously I'm looking at fundamental data and like I'm making sure things support it, and there's a lot more that goes into it, but in a nutshell that's kind of what I look for. So I think that price could, if we get a good reaction up here, I would be looking for shorts in this area. And obviously we're at all-time highs, like the market is very bullish, but you also have to zoom out and realize where you are, because yes, this does go up obviously perpetually long term, but there are periods of time where you do get these big corrections. So, for example, like 2021 into 2022 was an example of that, where we got a little bit of bullishness into the beginning of the year, not too much, and then obviously interest rates had just started to be hiked. They just started to hike rates at this time, but yeah, that's kind of like what I'm looking for. Even here again, like in the beginning of 2025, price was bullish into January, and then, like I told you, that third week of February, obviously this was exacerbated by the tariff situation, but typically that February is not the best. Like the third week, the price starts to slow down around that time. Typically, doesn't always happen. Seasonal tendencies don't always happen every single year, like clockwork, but it is something to pay attention to. So overall, I think I'm not going to go too deep into everything. I'm actually long on Bitcoin right now. I will say that I'm long. I took a trade on actually like on my birthday. I longed Bitcoin here based on price reacted off of this demand, and then we got a nice amount of exhaustion and slowdown. And then I did take another position here that I am holding. I'm looking to take it up to about 98,000 to 100. And I'm also long on Ethereum right now as well, looking to take it to about like 3,600 roughly. Yeah, but overall, I think that metals are very bullish. There may be some slight corrections here and there, but overall, like silver is a phenomenal. If you're looking for something long term, a long term investment, this is the last thing I'm going to say because I'm not. I want to let the guys talk, and I don't want to be on here for very much longer. But silver is a phenomenal investment long term because of its necessary use for electric cars. Every electric car currently in the market requires about 1 to 3 ounces of silver, and right now, electric cars represent 3% of cars globally, and that is projected to go to 25% globally within the next 5 to 10 years. So, they're not really making very many naturally aspirated cars anymore. Almost every car has some type of EV, battery, something like that. So, with that demand, there's physically not enough silver to satisfy that demand organically, obviously at this price. So, I do think in the next 5 to 10 years, silver has a potential to go up 1,000% or more. I think silver will be $1,000, probably in maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. So that's something that I'm looking at in the long term. But yeah, gold. This is real money here. This is real money. Gold is real money. Silver is real money. Platinum is real money. These are things that cannot be printed, cannot be manipulated in that sense. They're very scarce, real scarce assets. Um, so yeah. I think dollar will be bullish for a bit, and yeah, I'm long on crypto short term. I think crypto will create new lows at some point this year. I'm not going to go over too much forex and stuff, but yeah, it's a little bit about fundamentals, technicals, trading psychology for you. Just enter your trades and set your stop loss, set your TP, and don't do anything. Let the market tell you if you're right or wrong. Collect your data, collect a few months worth of data, create a spreadsheet, create probabilities, create your risk to rewards, like create a real edge for yourself. Find out if you really have an edge or not. You need 6 to 12 months of real data to actually formulate an idea if what you're doing is working or not working. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Sweet.
Sweet,
Okay.
sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. I do want to ask you a few questions, James.
Yeah, go ahead.
When's the last time you took a trade last year, besides Bitcoin? Obviously,
Besides Bitcoin, I took some trades on indices prior to that. Like maybe I was trading a bit in October and stuff, and then I started traveling in November for my birthday, so I wasn't trading too much. But probably, yeah, I've the last trade that I took was this crypto trade that I've been holding,
yeah.
and yeah, probably I don't trade frequently, obviously. But yeah, it was probably like late October.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. Obviously, I know you took that trade because like a few minutes after we were on the phone, wishing you a happy birthday and whatnot. And we talked about the importance of not just being a trader in the next coming years. It's about the gift of understanding how to cost average from here. Because, as traders, we always kind of obsess and romanticize entry and exits, but sometimes we get to forget that as we're getting older, and especially for our audience listening, it's about a portfolio, it's about long term, it's about understanding the idea that we should dollar cost average because we can't always get the perfect entry all the time. And so I think this is an important thing, along with the fact that, man, as I was kind of looking for your YouTube, I seen this disrespectful post about how somebody didn't think, you really as good as a trader or whatever, all because you were dropping down like Telegram posts and one signal, and supposedly that doesn't make you a great trader. And I'm a call cap on that. For those watching, you don't have to trade every freaking day to be a great trader. In fact, I think that's why a lot of people get it wrong, especially for those of you guys in the chat right now. We're having delays. I get that. But it's very much already telling me how many accounts are going to be blown just because of the simple fact that many traders lack what? The control of impulsiveness,
Of course.
right? Some traders lack identity as well. So if their friends are trading, they're trading too. If they're in like five chats and they see somebody say they're in a trade, they want to feel like they're not missing out. They want to feel not like as if they're not left out. They want to get in the trade as well. They want to be in it on action. They want to feel validated. They want to feel included. That's not what this is about. I could jump on Zoom right now and be on a call with four other great traders. I could care less if James told me he took a sell on US 30. If my strategy does not align, I'm sitting and I'm cheering you on, brother. I'm telling Josh, hey, bro, good stuff, man. I heard you call like four bangers on your signal page, man. Shit, you the GOAT. That doesn't take anything from me. And so when we're on a call and I get on Instagram, I'm scrolling, Andrew's taking out his phone. Let me tell you how I made $40,000 today on my futures funded account. This is what trading is all about. I'm coming here to let you know it works for me. I'm like, what? Talk your shit, bro. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go look for a 40,000 trade today as well, just so I can like pull up on Instagram and do the same thing. So I think it's very important when all four traders who are very well seasoned, who've been through the trenches, who've been through the losses, who break even from time to time, or can even take a week off because mentally maybe we might be managing personal life. We know that all it takes is that one trade, that one setup, quality over quantity, and we'll be up again. And trading doesn't mean like, oh, I have to always be active on the charts to feel like I'm worthy of being a trader.
I mean,
That's not
I've
what that
always
is.
made the most money trading the least amount of times, you know?
Correct.
And with students that I have that are struggling, I tell them, listen, you have a gun and it has one bullet in it per week. You get one shot. I want you to take one trade this week, and I want you to take the absolute best opportunity that you could possibly find throughout this entire week. People are way more patient. They're way more selective. They're taking way, they're filtering trades down to like what really fits their criteria, and they end up being more successful with that. And that discipline ends up translating into more profitability. Like again, it's not it's not like you it's not like a traditional job. Like most people look at trading like, okay, more effort, more income, more hours, more time, more money. It doesn't work that way. Like trading is about your ability to make the best decisions for yourself with your strategy, with your information, with your psychology. And 9 times out of 10, it's not like there's not amazing A+ quality trades like every single second of the day. I know people that trade and scalp all day long, and it's like you sat in front of the screen and took 75 trades when you really only needed to take like 3 or 4. Andrew, you want to say something?
Yeah. So, I kind of want to add on to all of that, considering that I'm actually a scalper majority of the time.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm like that, and I feel like the reason why I became a scalper because I wasn't before. I used to trade Forex back when I even was using Fortune's funding previously on the Forex side of things. I would enter off the 15 minute. I would set and forget. I wouldn't show my stop loss. I would just place my trade. It either hits my stop or it hits my take profit. And as I started transitioning over to future, I realized that because of the extensive rules that most futures prop firms have, which, Fortune's funding, we don't have crazy amounts of rules, but we still have to keep the standard structure of a futures prop firm. It kind of forces you to have to, especially with trailing drawdowns and whatnot, kind of forces you to become a scalper in a sense, or to learn to trail your stop loss because of these tight drawdowns and whatnot. However, just because these rules are in play doesn't mean you necessarily have to take 100 trades in a day. And there's a lot of pressure. I know a lot of us, especially when we're starting off, trading isn't our main source of income. We're still working a regular job. We're still, slaving away all these hours. We want to get paid. Okay, we want to get our payout as fast as possible, which is why a lot of people tend to go with firms that offer faster payouts. But that sense of urgency actually ends up harming you in the long run because all you're doing now is chasing. You're chasing numbers, you're chasing profits that aren't even real. I've had specific multiple times, James knows this more than anyone, where I've made 200-300K on a prop firm and I can't even withdraw that because the payout cap is so low. So it's
Yes.
like I'm making all of these fake unrealistic numbers. In my head, I'm already spending this money that I don't even have access to. And then now it leads me to making irrational decisions. And then going back to the rushing of the payout. Prop firms are designed, not saying that, obviously this prop firm specifically, Fortune's Funding, is a prop firm built by traders for traders. We're all traders. We all know how it feels. We're not just some fat fuck sitting in the middle of nowhere that's building a business that has nothing to do with trade, doesn't even trade himself, that runs a prop. No, we're actually traders who know how traders operate because we sit in the trenches ourselves. And coming from experience, I can't tell you how many payouts I've messed up personally from rushing. Okay, I probably screwed myself out of 300K in payouts just last year alone. I blew my time the day before a payout. And it's not because of a lack of skill. It's not because of a lack of understanding of the market. It all comes down to rushing the process, not being patient, wanting the money now. And James always tells me, he says, stop trying to build the bamboo tree, which takes 5-6 years. Okay, stop trying to do it in 90 days. He always tells me that. Okay, stop trying to repeatedly do that 90-day period of the bamboo tree's development cycle in 90 days. Let it sit, let it nurture.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know what it's basically a bamboo tree. You plant it in the ground and it takes 4 to 5 years to grow. And when it finally, you don't see anything happening for 4 to 5 years. It sits in the dirt and it looks like it's dead. And you're like, oh, my tree is dead. But actually, what ends up happening is it's growing underneath the soil. And when it finally sprouts through the soil, it grows 90 feet in 90 days. And I kept telling Andrew that you're trying to skip the growing underneath the soil, growing that foundation, growing the roots, and you're just trying to sprout through the soil in 90 feet in 90 days. And you can't skip that process. You can't skip the process of establishing your roots because that's what allows the tree to have a firm foundation. So you need proper roots before you can grow tall and big and strong and level up and do all these things and make all this money because it doesn't matter. Like you're always going to lose it. Like even when I made a lot of money, like when I first made my first significant amount of money trading, I lost, a good, not all, a good bit of money. I lost some money trying to do stupid things. Like money that comes fast, money goes fast as well.
I'll add on to that as well. I was adding on to that. I mean, I've
Are you
made
on
a
your
lot of money.
AirPods? It's a little hard are you on your phone or your AirPods? Because I think your mic is,
Hold up.
yeah, try to
Can you
go.
hear me now?
That's much better, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Much
Yeah,
better,
yeah,
much
it's
better,
100
bro.
times better. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Hold
you
up, let
sound
me
like the
put my
voice of
speaker on. Sorry.
Are you good?
Yeah, now you're giving us
Um,
podcast vibes.
okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. What I was saying was I've made so much money in this past year. I'm only 23 years old. Okay, the past year I made the most amount of money. I cleared around $800,000 total from all my businesses, trading, whatnot, and I kept none of it. Okay, I have a few things to show for it. Yeah, I paid vacations, whatever, saved a little bit, but majority of the money that I made is all gone. And the reason why it's all gone is because one, like Hans was saying earlier, I wasn't diversifying my income. Okay, I wasn't taking that money, saving it, and investing it back into things that actually will continuously help me to grow. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, it lagged. So going into this year, okay, I'm not mad at myself. I'm not, you know, gonna sit here and cry about the mistakes I made. What I'm gonna do is, and which I'm already doing, is I'm realizing the mistakes because in life you need to grow, and in order to grow, you learn from the mistakes of either yourself or the mistakes of others. And going forward, I already have the skill. As a trader, we have the skill of generating money faster than majority of people can. So I'm not worried. I know I'm capable of generating just as much money, if not more, going into this next year. But rather than doing and repeating the same exact mistakes, I'm going to be smarter with my funds, smarter with allocating things in different investments so that I don't have to worry and stress about, you know, my bills and whatnot, because trading is stressful in and of itself. And I was talking to a student of mine earlier today, and I was telling him he just blew his funded account. He had a lot of profits in there. I was like, yo, let me ask you, are you trading to chase some sort of dopamine hit to see these large numbers, or are you trading to see your bills paid? He's a truck driver. He works 60, 80 hours a week. He has a very large family he has to support. And I said, if you're actually trading for your bills, then every time you go and you make a decision on the charts, you're going to ask yourself, is this decision going to affect my family? And if and you need to ask, is it going to affect it positively or negatively? Just because it affects your family doesn't mean it's always going to be negative. Okay, but you have to ask yourself, what is the outcome of the decision I'm going to make going to entail? And sometimes you might make a decision where you think it's going to be good and it ends up not working out in your favor, but that's okay because that's controlled risk. But then there's the decisions that you make knowingly that are going to harm your family, but you make it out of emotion in that current moment. And then you try to fix that mistake, and then it just leads you to making even more mistakes. So you always need to ask yourself, what is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing? And for the majority of people, you're trading to pay your bills. You're not trading to flex on social media. You're not trading to show off these numbers to your family. You're not trying to trade to prove to others that you're capable of trading, even though they told you that you're not. This is not why we're trading. 90% of the people who post money on social media, anyways, are fake,
Correct.
especially in the futures community. 90% of these kids posting, oh, I made $1,500, I made $20,000. It's all bullshit. It's all fake. Where's the payout? Where's the money? Where's the actual funds that they're receiving from the brokerages, from these prop firms? 99% of them can't show that. I can show six figures in a month in payouts. Most people can't do that. I can show six figures in withdrawals from live. Most people can't do that. Okay, and it's not to say that I'm any better than anyone, but at least I'm putting things out there that is legit. James can
I
say the same.
respect, yeah, bro. I respect what you just said, bro. I genuinely do respect the transparency in anything, bro, because we live in such a world, especially with AI and just fabricating things. It's just so easy to lie and just make fake shit these days, bro. So like,
100%.
being
And
real and
actually,
raw
I don't
is
know
like
if the podcast released, but
not
in
yet.
the podcast I did with James, I talked about the struggle of running a course selling business or a mentorship business and how it's not as easy as people think it is. I've had times where I lost all the money for mentorship trading, doing dumb shit, and I had to pull out loans to pay my employees because, whenever you're running mentorship, it's not just a one person thing. I've talked about going in debt multiple times. You know, Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur until they realize the problems that comes with being an entrepreneur, which the number one problem is not having a secure form of income. Most
Correct.
people who have jobs know that their paycheck is going to come, their bills are going to be paid to an extent as long as they're not living beyond their means. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're always having to fight for your next paycheck or your next source of income until you're at the level where you've diversified your assets to the point where now they're paying you, passively over time.
Yeah.
But as a 23-year-old, I haven't gotten to that point yet. So I'm still having to almost work
For you, bro,
for my
generating
income.
money is not the issue. And remember,
It's keeping it.
Yes, it's keeping it, managing it, allocating it, parking it, like doing the right
Correct.
things with it, bro. So I had the same issue, bro, when I was 23 years old, 24 years old. And right now, your fucking frontal cortex has not developed, fully yet. So you got you got a couple more years before you're fully developed. But no, you're very. I've seen you trade. I know, we all have pitfalls. We all have things that, but generally we all struggle with the money aspect of it because all of our psychology works against us in trading. So you're going to figure it out. And the beauty of all these lessons that you're learning actively is that they all make you better. Every single time you do something stupid, you make a mistake. Sometimes we make the same mistakes over and over again until we really have like a breaking point where it's like, yo, like I can never do this again because like I'm just feel so terrible about my situation, myself, and that's the best teacher. Unfortunately, like pain is the best teacher. Pain is a scar, a psychological scar in your brain that you can refer to in the future. Like, hey, remember when you felt terrible for a whole week when you lost all your money? Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that again. And then you end up changing the behavior. Your brain goes through so much trauma. Your brain is like a whole map of electrons. And if you keep firing in the same fashion, you're going to keep repeating the same behaviors and have the same result. You need to turn off those connections to those synapses that cause you to do these behaviors. And eventually, your brain starts firing in a new direction, and you have a new behavior and you have a new result.
I want to add on to
Very,
something
very
like
well
that as
said. Very
well.
well said.
I want to add something to that. Wait, Hans, if you don't mind, I'm going to add one last
Yeah,
thing
go
to what
ahead.
you just
Go
said.
ahead.
One of the biggest things that I've done personally that I'm implementing in the next upcoming month in my own trading is that I'm decreasing my size. Okay, on Monday,
Yep.
as a result of allowing the external to affect the internal, for those of you guys that don't know, my Instagram got basically it got deactivated, and I have no means of getting it back as of right now. So that affected me mentally. I've worked really hard on that, and I allowed that to affect my trading, and I lost $35,000 between Monday and Tuesday on my live account. It's not prop firm, nothing on my live account. Now, rather than trying to make that money back and revenge trade, it's just going to lead me. I've been here before. I've lost almost six figures, high five figures in a day in a live account before doing dumb shit and revenge trading. And trying to chase back that money always leads to the destruction. You always end up losing even more. Hans can tell you that's the case. James can tell you that's the case. Josh can tell you that's the case. So rather than trying to fix it through forcing more, the only way that I'm going to fix it is by actually doing less. So it goes back to what James was saying earlier, trading less, decreasing my size, which I've already done, and I've already started seeing a tremendous amount of progress because what that's going to do is it's going to build new habits. It's going to remind me that it's okay to fuck up, okay, once or twice. It's not okay to let the fuck ups grow. You don't want to turn a bad day into a horrible day. You don't want to turn a bad situation into a horrible situation. And just like when we're dieting, you mess up on your diet, you don't just go run 10 miles and try to burn out the calories immediately. No, you get back on track and you slowly burn 100 calories a day until eventually you burn off all of the food that you ate in that binge eating session or whatever it is. So it's just get back on track. I need to decrease my size, focus on the process, focus on trading in and of itself, not the money, which goes also back to what Hans said earlier. A lot of people, their identity is tied to their P&L. Okay, if you lose or you win, how you feel or who you are as a person should never change, because trading doesn't make you. Okay, you are a trader, but trading isn't who you are. You are who you are. You are, and then fill in the name with your name. Okay, and your identity needs to be tied in something else other than trading. For me, it's tied in Jesus Christ. Okay, so I am a Christian, so that's besides the point. But your identity needs to be tied within something else rather than your P&L. So where if you lose or you win, you're neutral. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. You shouldn't care about the outcome of your trade. All you should care about is, did you follow your plan? Did you take the trade that you said you were going to take based off of what you know you've back tested, based off of what you know your process entails? If the answer was yes, then good job. Whether it was a win or a loss, you followed your process, and that's all that matters. And over time, the consistency is going to compound, and the payouts and the profits are going to be a byproduct of that consistency. But constantly chasing one thing after the other, constantly, like Han said, you see your friend got into a short or a long, and you're like, oh man, I missed it, whatever. You get mad at yourself, you start talking negatively. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I missed this setup. Why didn't I see what? It's only going to lead to you destructing yourself even more, and comparing
The
yourself. It's just
beauty
going to
of
keep,
this whole thing is that the markets
yeah.
are so abundantly available every single month, every single week, every single day. Like, no matter anyone in this live, we could all lose all of our fucking money tomorrow. And I promise you, if you really hone in on yourself, on everything that you're doing, you audit everything, you remove all the negative substances, people, situations. You just focus on trading itself. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what your situation is. You can fix all of it, and you can live a fantastic life. And I want you all to everything. People, everyone wants to focus on the past, wants to focus on the future. Just focus on the present right now. No matter how much money you've lost previously, no matter how much money you think you're going to make this year, just make the best decisions today for yourself, and eventually the future comes, and eventually, you start living how you see, for yourself, right? You manifest it, however you want to, call it. But yeah, like, the beauty of it is that it doesn't matter what you missed. Doesn't matter. Oh, you had oh, last week I could have made this. I closed the trade early, and then it doesn't. None of that. It doesn't matter. What are you doing today? And what's your plan for today into tomorrow? And you can, I'm telling you, like, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 67 years old right now, like, you can reinvent yourself, and you can become a millionaire, with the right habits and the right procedures for yourself. So, I'm gonna share. Allow the share, for somebody else to go on, and we can.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I applaud Andrew for
Yeah,
saying what he
Andrew.
said.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
a lot of takeaways that I had to piggyback on, and I appreciate the acknowledgement. Let's go ahead and check the chat real quick before I do continue what I was about to say. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. We got Phantom Nexus, shout out to you. We got Mambambala. Okay, I see a couple people that I understand are pulling up from my threads or my side of my community. Uh, Whoa, somebody said James is the only on this panel. You bugging.
Yeah.
All right, so if this is the first time somebody is making acquaintance with me, it's my fault because going back to what Andrew had said is, he's 23, I'm 33. I'm probably the oldest out of this panel here, and sometimes I'm the most quietest. You know why? Because wealth is quiet. And on top of that, priorities change. See, when I was actually growing up in this industry, we came from a time where it wasn't even all that cool just to be using marketing accounts until we found out the majority of the guys were using marketing accounts to come up. But one of the best things that they did for us with these marketing accounts is to show us what was real and gave us inspiration enough for us to actually do it for real. See, I'm the type of person that comes from a athlete background. All right. So when I was growing up, I played soccer, I played football, a little bit of basketball, typical black guy shit, right? So now here's the thing though. I did not make it to the NFL. I did not make it to no NBA. But one thing that remained was the mental athlete psychology, which allowed me to have the fortitude to be where I'm at today. I've been trading for 10 years. This is going to be my 11th. I was failing forward for the first 2 years. Now, I started learning trading in college. And the reason why I picked up trading was I was looking at salaries outside of college. I was looking at counties and demographics per capita. And it seemed like it came down to one thing. Everybody was moving based on the motivation that money brought, and everybody were categorized based on the salary that you are to make. And so that bothered me a little bit because it seemed like in many categories, in many aspects of life, our potential was capped. Oh, you wanted to be a physical therapist? Oh yeah, the most we'll make is 89,000 or 105, and either you have to live in this state or that county, or you have to have how many years of experience. So I was like, okay, so basically society is telling you that this is how much you're worth. And mentally, I was like, nah, I'm worth more. And until I found a vehicle where that could actually match what I felt in my heart, I kept searching. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. Why? When I was 13, I was like, I want a Lambo. What type of job will get me a Lambo if I save up for 4 years or whatever? Because I'm like, okay, 250 times four is a million. In my head, I thought like, you know what? I'm just gonna live below my means. I'm gonna just like, go for 100K a year, start saving up for that Lambo, get good credit, whatever, whatever. But guess what? That mentality allowed me to already be dreaming bigger. Now, fast forward today, clearly I'm not an anesthesiologist, but I'm definitely a surgeon on these charts. So the gag is though, I was trying to match my worth with a salary. When today, if somebody tells me, oh yeah, oh, you're a black guy, or you got a bachelor in health science or whatever the case may be. Oh, okay, I can already tell your salary is around 100 to 120K. And I could kindly, respectfully say, nah, I'm worth more because my time, my value, what's on my mind, the skill set that I've been fine tuning has allowed me to be anywhere on God's green earth to be able to triple my worth just at a click of a button, which took time to yield this weapon. And this is why everything that I do from here and everything I've been doing leading up to here was to protect my mind and my execution mentality. I coined that word, by the way. So now,
Can you
at
wait before you
33,
continue? Can you share with me the button that I'm supposed to click that triples my net worth in one click?
oh, I got you. After the call, though. After the call.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah, you got to have some capital. But it's okay, my son. I got you. Listen, guys, if you're listening to this call right now, it's not by accident. We're not coming here to sell you a product. We're telling you about our story, and we're also bringing in psychology, technicals, and what we have gone through. Our story is the most powerful thing. It's the most important selling point. It's called a testimony for a reason. Now, at 33, Jesus died on the cross, but he has already accomplished everything he needed to do, including giving us everlasting life. Now, right now, at my age, many times, I kid you not, I want to pull up and tell you how much I made today or how much I lost today. And then it hit me. I really don't have to tell a soul because it made sense to me that I validated myself at this point. My bills know what's up. My wife knows what's up. And a lot of times it finally hit me why a lot of guys who do have marketing accounts use it for entertainment because that's what it is, entertainment. But for me to pull up and tell you I lost, let's say, $20,000 or I lost $5,000 and you find motivation in that, that's cool. But my losses and my gains sometimes, bro, I don't see myself always pulling up just to entertain real losses of hard earned money. Sometimes I got to actually have a one on one session with myself. I'm like, bro, this was capital or this was a condition in your mind where you allow this to happen. It should not happen. Last year, as a mentor who've been teaching people since 2018, I took a couple losses, right? And I felt like a fraud. I was like, yo, not me being the guy who's supposed to be holding everybody accountable. And I had a moment of weakness. But 2 days after fasting, I'm like, hold on, who do I think I am? As if I'm not allowed to make mistakes. Nah, first of all, we're not gonna let that happen again. But as a leader, you're allowed at least one or two fuck ups a year if you've been consistent all year. But don't do it again. Understand where you fell short. Don't romanticize it. Many a times I'm scrolling on social media, I'm seeing people complaining about the same losses or the same revenge trading, the same greediness Are you ready to make the change, or are you just coming here to romanticize the problem? I see a lot of people saying they don't need mentors. They swear ChatGPT has replaced the essence of what 10 years of experience is. I find it laughable.
Yeah.
I find it laughable. I can't teach you how to always not take a loss, as we do take lessons to learn from. It's a refinement journey. But if you keep making the same losses, at some point you got to sit down and talk to yourself and be like, hey, it's 2026 now. Do we need payouts to take care of our bills? Or are we just doing this just to feel part of the crew, the trading group crew, right? People are sitting here posting about things they should be doing. It doesn't make sense. All right. So now, a quick little story about some of my biggest wins and losses last year and the year before that. In 2024, I was managing close to seven figures, 500,000 on one PAM and another $120,000 on one private client's personal account. And it taught me a lot. It really taught me a lot because in one token, I took 65K to 132 in 40 days. And then I found out brokers don't like that. James, we all know on the back end, when you start to deal with high figure accounts, if
Yeah.
you're not moving it to other brokers that can sustain it, they start to trade against you. They start to sabotage you. They start to put trades that you have no idea where it came from. Okay. And so if we're talking about 10 million and 100 million in the chat, listen, uh, listen, you know how much money that means? It means at that point, you are trading on a hedge fund level. You are a shark that is bigger than the tank.
Right.
So realistically, you are a smart idiot if you're saying $100 million is traded in one single broker. That's 10 investors coming in together to create a hedge fund.
Right.
That's 10 people times 10 million. That's money that has to be wired from custodial accounts.
Right.
And on top of that, hedge funds are wired differently. You know why? When we first started trading, we felt like, oh, I guess I must know something that hedge funds don't because I can make 20% in a day. You're not trading $40 million.
Right.
When it comes to larger amounts of money, you trade less because less is more. On top of that, the percentage is way more than the efforts that you have to do. These guys are playing a different ball game than we are. We're trading survival. They're trading longevity. We are not having the same conversations. So I had to understand that because some of my clients were like, hey, we don't want nothing sexy. We just need steadiness. And I'm like, huh? Man, I came here with $250,000. I'm trying to double that in 6 months. They're like, whoa, we don't need that. We have other streams of income. This is just play money. We just need a long-standing track portfolio. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was teaching me to calm down.
Yeah, it's different. It's different at those levels, like larger levels. Like they're not even really looking for anything substantial. You know, if
No,
you could just not lose money, like they're all right with that potentially. You know, like even at the highest levels, you're talking like 8, 9, 10 figures.
yeah,
A small percentage goes a very long way. You know.
correct. So, as I've been mentoring other people, I have to mentor myself. Because who knows me better than me, right? I don't care if James Storms hit me up, tells me he made 50. I don't care if Josh comes on and says, man, I caught Nas. I'm like, damn, I traded US 30. And I'm fine with that because you know why? Number one, I tell my students this: the market is a market of abundance. As above, so below. What is yours. But mainly know your identity. Know what setup works best for you so that when everybody else is chasing, that's their bills. Those losses, not even your losses. Do you know what it feels like to make 40 or $20,000 and give it right back because you were being stupid, because your adrenaline was running, because you felt like you're the god of trading? Nah, it'll humble you real quick. So that's why guys like us, even Andrew was like, yo, this year, I'm about to chill. Like, I'm going to size down. And you know, this is what happens once even I take a loss. For me to even show my face again and trade my boo gold or US 30, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to go easy this time. I can't go full fledged, full port, right? All of a sudden your buying power decreases. So now The only thing that works you back into it's like working out and you getting injured. You're not gonna go put 2 plates back again. You're gonna have to go steady. And it humbles you. You got to put on that lot size once more. Sometimes you got to learn how to walk again on these charts, right? But one thing I noticed that helps me to get back is the fact that I know when I suffered the anxiety of winning, which most people don't even talk about because they haven't gotten there, I keep winning so much. I'm like, damn, I know it's just that other foot that's going to drop at any time. And I had to literally pray about it. And I remember a voice telling me, listen, the psychology behind winning is to consistently practice winning systems. You do that, even if you lose, you'll always get back on road and win again. Secondly, if you know your setups, you got to always remember that it's those same setups that help you to be profitable that's going to help you recover time and time again. That previous day retest, that break and retest, that 4 hour structure, right? That 4 hour fail swing that Josh likes to catch so much, right? These are setups that make your identity. You are the product. Even if somebody woke you up from a nap, you're supposed to know what these charts are looking like to the point where you know your shit so much that when you pull up, you know exactly what day is good for you to trade, what condition doesn't make sense, and what setup you have to sit there and observe for a couple of days until you catch on to the new nuances of this adaptable market. And I really see sometimes that this is what cannot be taught because you will learn this over time. The thing about this market many times is this: what you didn't learn, you're going to take a loss or you're going to miss out on the trade and you're going to study it so that way it becomes familiar. And what you don't want to pay somebody else, you will have to pay it regardless because the market is always there for you to pay that tuition. All right? And the broker you trade in the futures account that you keep blowing, listen, the prop firms love that. And we're talking about people right now who are ambassadors and CEOs of a prop firm. But really, we don't just want you to come here and blow accounts. If that's what you want to come here to do, honestly, we appreciate it. We're actually redonating it back to the community with the things that we want to do. But that is not the goal here. We want you to celebrate you guys and shake your hand, take pictures with you, come out and hang with us. Have days of summits and masterminds. Start to really tell you about financial literacy, knowing how to actually focus on high yield savings accounts and dollar cost averaging the next 2 years instead of just focusing on having the lump sum of money just to put in crypto. These things take time. All right. So, with that being said, guys, before I finish talking, I want to let you know that there's something I want to share with you. And these are the things that I honestly want y'all to focus on if you want to really get to a different level in trading in 2026. And these are the pillars right here. Shout out to Chat GPT. It was able to really cook up something really nice for me. But these are the things that I teach my own students about understanding psychology. Whenever I see folks talking down on psychology just for clickbait, I laugh and I scroll because without psychology, you are nothing. There are so many different layers of psychology of knowing yourself. Until you get there, you will master self because you are a reflection of the profits that you do make. All right. Now, pull out your pen and paper. This is what we're going to talk about. The different levels of psychology are these: entry psychology, exit psychology, trade management psychology, breathing room psychology, loss recovery psychology, emotional management psychology, and profitability management psychology. A lot of people romanticize sniper entries. Then they stay in the trade way too long. And what happens? Price comes back and slaps you in the face, or whatever amount of money you was making, you just get out at break even or $2. Then you want to get back in because now you feel like you got a slot for your account. It's not going to work in the long run. Without exit psychology, entry psychology is more of the same. You got to know where to exit, whether that's your 1 to 2, whether that's the previous high of yesterday, whether that's yesterday's Asian session low. You have to know at what point You keep on losing because of you not exiting fast enough or knowing an actual point where you need to make a decision. You can't sit here and romanticize and let this market literally just have its way with your account. You have to step in and make decisions. Sometimes that happens to me. I trade gold. I'm entering at around 10 a.m. or sometimes right after the market sweeps London, gives me a 5 minute break and retest. I'm in there. I'm like, okay, the next 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to see price go to yesterday's high and then I'll exit. Or sometimes I'm in a trade on a 1 hour time frame and the market is going. I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to go work out. I'm about to run errands and let this thing slide. 30 minutes into the trade, price pulls back or is selling hard. And I'm like, yo, what the heck is going on? And the truth is sometimes I was supposed to close partials no matter how much I thought price was going to do something. I'm not the daddy of the market. Secondly, trade management psychology. It is important to know what sequence you need to do what. We are not robots. We are emotional, but managing our emotions while managing the trade can be a little funny. One of my biggest weak points is when the volume cuts off out of nowhere. Like the candle's full on bullish erect, got Viagra, got blue chews and honey packs out here just going crazy, and then all of a sudden it turns into a wick. I didn't see that coming. But my idea of moving my stop loss into profit is once at least one or two 30-minute candles start to go to the upside. Okay, then I'm gonna move my stop loss into stop profit. Now I know I'm gonna break even. But if within the first 30 minutes of the trade or 45 minutes, the wick is just like wishy-washy, I'm gonna feel nervous. I'm gonna feel nervous. And sometimes you ask yourself, yo, at what point do I move my stop loss into profit? Sometimes the rules can be iffy, right, guys? Am I bullshitting? I'm gonna check the chat real quick. Am I dropping some sauce? If I'm dropping some sauce, let me know. Put some fire. Put some fire. Let's
Put
get
some
that
tomato.
engagement
Put some
going.
tomato emojis for the
Throw some
sauce.
tomatoes at me if I'm capping. Let me know. You feel me? So one thing I had to make peace with is saying to myself, you know what? If I'm getting to half of the direction of the market of where I wanted price levels to go, or at a dollar amount, if I'm like closer to 80% of the trade real reaching where it needs to be, I'm closing partials. I'm closing 50% partials, and I'm moving stop loss in front of the trade. Now, that takes care of two things for me. I'm not gonna feel I'm not going to feel what's the word? I'm not going to feel butt hurt about the fact that, oh, I could have made more. On top of that, even if the market does come back to stop me out, I know I actually closed a portion of that profit, because I hate feeling salty when like all of a sudden the market starts to like just be all choppy. We've experienced that back in December. We experienced that back in July. I would see great, beautiful 50, 20, K days and whatnot. Next thing I know, the next week I'm giving like all of it back or most of it back. And I had to tell myself, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, let me give you guys a quick screen record of what happened to me on some transparent shit. Where is this? All right. Look at this trade right here. I'm up, I'm floating 4.7K on a live account. And is this the right trade? Many times this had happened to me last year. I'm in trades on multiple accounts. And next thing I know, instead of the market actually continuing, it'll just reach these levels of let me go to my chart real quick. It'll just reach these levels right here where sometimes it's imbalance in fair values that I didn't expect would react so harshly right here. And it'll just pull back so deep. And I'm like, bro, like what happened to, this area of interest that you clearly had the strength to go and visit? So I'm over here upset, but the reality is I'm kind of mad I didn't make a decision to close partial sooner. Anybody else deal with that? I'm sure. So another situation that usually happens to me sometimes in the past is I needed to learn breathing room psychology in another perspective. Why? It is no secret that gold now will move 300 pips, 500 pips in one day, right? Sometimes what we're used to is not what it is these days, right? Back in the day, man, we get away with murder with 20 pips stop loss, 40 pips stop loss, 50 pips stop loss. Sometimes the structure's asking you to put your stop loss 150 pips below the structure for you to actually give it time to move. Now, some people are still dealing with egos. Man, what? I see that all the time in comment sections, like they're better traders. Bench players talking like starters. I love it. I love it, right? Next thing you know, the market goes 350 pips or 600 pips, and you're upset. Why? Because you wasn't comfortable putting in the right distance and risk just to let the trade breathe. And I had to humble myself by reducing the lot size and increasing the stop loss just so I can feel comfortable enough to let this trade run. When it comes to trading, guys, you have to be dynamic. You have to be open for change. You have to be able to adapt to certain conditions because it's not a one size fit all. Sometimes I have to sit there and stalk the market for 2 days, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you're doing. Bet I'm noticing something here. I'm noticing behaviors here. Even if it's my favorite pair to trade, I'm like, okay, you know what? I didn't peep this. There were times I didn't even like trading on Sundays. But after weeks and weeks of watching gold last year, sometimes I'm like, bro, what the heck? Like, I'm out here just having a good time out eating with my wife and whatnot. I look at the market, it's 9 p.m. When the heck did gold move 600 pips? I'm like, all right, looks like I'm gonna have to start trading on Sundays. I wasn't comfortable, but this is the thing. Constantly, this field, this journey teaches you how to get comfortable in uncomfortable decisions. And the funny thing is, every time we make decisions, it's either we make profit or we have to deal with the loss. It's like touching the hot stove, but you got to learn to fuck around and find out many times and see if you built for it or not. So breathing room psychology was something that changed the game for me. And I was able to tell my students, hey, drop down the ego. If you got to do what you got to do, if the market needs you to move the stop loss a little further, then that's what you got to do. It has nothing to do with nobody. All right. So profitability management psychology. Most of us sometimes have an issue of making the profit, making the content behind the profit, and then giving it back the next day or the next week. But if we thought about maintaining, for example, some folks have always reached out to me telling me, man, Friday's my worst trading day. Do you trade Fridays? I'm like, hell yeah. They're like, what? You trade Fridays? I'm like, why not? Listen, I can get clapped at any day. It doesn't matter the day. It's about the setup. It's about the structure. It's about what you're seeing. But make no mistake, by the end of the week, the statistics show that traders usually lose their funded accounts on the first week, Friday, and on the last day of the month. Gee, I wonder why. Bills, pressure, all of that. But the thing is, if we were to say, you know what, I'm not going double or nothing to finish the week, to pass the challenge, let me risk a portion out of yesterday's gains. That way, if I lose, I can walk away knowing that I only lost a portion of the previous day's gains. That's what we want you guys to implement in your trading, or else you're gonna pay out so many more challenges than you need to, and it's gonna crush you spiritually and psychologically. So when it comes to profitability management, you guys have to do better. You have to skip the days, and just like the way the prop firms set up, like trailing drawdowns and trailing stops or whatever the case is, trailing daily drawdowns and such, have like a trailing profit type of mindset. You have to have a responsible way of seeing what profit is, because when you ask for blessings, you have to know how to maintain it. When we used to wish for big days back in the day when we were younger and in our trading journey, we're like, man, I can't wait to have a 10K day. Then you have it and you lose it. Man, I can't wait to have a 50K week. Then you have it and you give it back. So be careful what you wish for. Some people have seen their first 10K withdrawal in prop firm payout, And it's like they're chasing it. And we've gotten to a point where we've become so attached to our worth with numbers that sometimes it really drowns our dopamine levels to the point where many times we see traders on Fridays and Saturdays be like, so hey traders, what do you guys do on weekends? Man, it's so boring. It's because you've literally drained your dopamine levels and drug it to the ground because trading is all you do. Touch grass, stop fapping, go work out, read some books. And by the way, here are some books I'm just gonna toss at you. The Mountain is You, Breaking the
Your camera's off, by
Breaking
the way.
man. You know what? That's probably what I needed to do. So they need to hear my voice. Let me take care of that though. Appreciate you. The Mountain is You, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Ego is the Enemy. I'm gonna throw another one. Atomic Habits. All right. And we're not even talking about trading books. You guys be back testing and it's not helping in real life. So make sure you prepare yourself in the condition where you're ready to trade and be the best version of yourself for 2026. I take my time back, guys. I'm gonna let my other panelists speak, but I hope this brought a lot of value to you because when we pull up on these webinars, we're not just edifying ourselves, we're giving back. Name is Sir Hans Felix. I'm passing it along to the next person.
Good shit. That's what's up.
That's
All right,
that's
so
Josh.
what's up? What's up, everybody? I've been pretty quiet. Yeah, so I saw some guy in here, Kevin. Apparently, he knows me better than I know myself, and my bank account knows me. He said that I don't do crazy R to R's, but I've done them in the signals group in front of over 100 people for about 5 years now. And also, if you go look at, I did a 1 to 42 on a $675 account to 28K in 3 hours, and then I did a 1 to 10K the day before that. And I just started really trying to account flip, and James kind of inspired me to do that. And it's like, how do you look at, so I'm tying this all back into psychology because how do you go from, oh, I believe in James, what he does, and okay, I don't know you, Hans, so okay, then yeah, okay, Hans, you're good too then. But Josh, man, he claims crazy R to R's, so that can't be real. Yeah, I can box, but I'm not Floyd Mayweather. That doesn't mean I think all his fights are rigged.
Yeah, don't
You
play with
understand
the
what I'm saying?
mountain.
So this psychology with people, like welcome to dumbass of the day, Kevin in the chat, dumbass of the day. Hey guys, I'm over here and I believe this is pop. James has done some crazy shit too. James took like 30K to over a mil. Like that's insane. Like I don't like you if you can believe that, how do you not believe 675 to 28K and I have everything to prove it and I show it in a video. So it's like, and that's a 42 R to R with using free margin, like full margining that shit, right? Just to prove that it's possible to y'all. And then I just did it the other day, 5K to 20K on silver. Like,
Yep,
you know what
good
I'm saying?
shit.
So like this, it's not like it's not repeatable. It's not like I haven't done it multiple times right in front of your faces. It's just that you are stuck in your belief system of you're used to going to the 9 to 5, getting your $500 paycheck every week, and that's what you know. So you don't know a different reality. Until you sit in a Lamborghini seat, you don't know how it feels. Until you're around the people eating 5-star dinners, rubbing the right elbows, you don't know what those conversations are like. Until you're actually making those trades happen and you see 5 figures up or 6 figures up in a single trade, you don't understand the emotions that come with it. That can't be taught. That can't be demoed. All right. So shout out to Kevin for winning Dumbass of the Day from me. This is just my personal opinion. This has nothing to do with fortunes or anybody else here. But like you can't sit there and just you can't sit there like when I was growing up, I always thought the dude in the fucking Lamborghini looked cool as shit. I was like, that's what I want, and I love that. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Like, let's go. I got inspired by it. But there's people out here saying they want wealth, but then they're hating on people that got wealth or maybe do things they don't understand to get it.
Right.
Right. So it's like I said, I know how to box a little bit, but I'm not Floyd Mayweather. That doesn't mean I believe all his fights are rigged. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to get your head out of the gutter. And Kevin, I don't know you from Adam. And as far as I know, I've never had a conversation with you. As far as I know, we've never met. As far as I know, you only know me through social media or what you've seen on the internet. And whether you want to believe that or not is up to you. But it's just people have this mentality of, oh, I want it, but I don't want to believe in the possibilities outside of my realm of comprehension. Like, what? What do you mean? There's people making 10 million a day in the market. It's a $5 trillion a day market. 4 to 8 trillion dollars a day goes through the Forex market. Like, do you understand how much money there actually is on this planet? You don't think somebody could go make 5, 10 M's? You don't think somebody could go make, you know what I'm saying? And it's like there's a difference between calling somebody out that's doing bullshit, and there's a difference between somebody actually doing it and backing it up with data. That's a whole different story. So I'm not debating that.
Just remember
But
that everything is
it's
possible.
yeah,
Like
everything is possible. Like
everything is
Michael Burry
possible.
bet on the housing market crash, and everybody thought he was crazy. And lo and behold, he was right and made like
But
billions of dollars
you
from it.
can't
Facts.
convince everybody, and
Exactly.
ultimately
Exactly.
we're here operating for that small percentage of people that
Yeah.
resonate with what we're doing. So like we're not here for the masses, we're not here for the
Yeah.
majority. We're here to establish
Exactly.
our lane and travel and
Yep.
bring and lead everyone in our lane.
Yep.
So
Exactly. And that
Absolutely.
somebody said in the chat, cognitive dissonance. Exactly. Like you're saying you want something, but then your belief system is pushing it away. And it's like that goes into the psychology Hans was talking about. Like, yo, like my thing was I was raised like Kanye West by my mom. You could do anything you put your mind to. That's why I've done it. Because I never told myself I couldn't. Even when I saw myself lose, 5 figures, even when I saw myself go down and go up and go down and go up, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Trading especially is a spiritual journey. You want to get to know yourself, become a trader. Like you want to get to know the inner parts of yourself that are going to make you, who you are. You become a trader. Like it's the hardest way to make easy money. It's simple, but it's not easy. And like James was saying, you want to be a sniper, not a machine gunner. That's what I tell people. James says 1 bullet every week. I say to my students, hey, you're a sniper. You're a Marine Scout sniper. You're not on the 50 cal shooting off the Humvee. No, you're a Marine Scout sniper by yourself out there, maybe with your spotter, and you're taking one shot that counts. That's it. And that's your one trade. Whether that's every day, whether that's once a week, or whatever it is, that's your one trade. So that's how I look at it. And, I think just when it comes to the mindset, man, people got to get out of the gutter. Like y'all could really do anything. Like you think all these people that are hyper successful, 9, 10 figures are just sitting there going, no, I don't think I can. No, no, that's not it. No, it can't be possible for him because it wasn't possible for me. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. So nope. Can't work for him because I didn't experience it in my reality. There's a lot of people living a lot of different realities out here, and a lot of which make our realities look like nothing. Like, even if you got a Lamborghini, like there's some Saudi prince that literally is buying all of freaking Dubai, or whatever. Like so just a reminder to kind of understand that just because you don't believe you can do it doesn't mean people ain't out here doing it every single day right in front of your face with all the proof you could ever need. You might just be in a little bit of denial. You might just be in a little bit of that poverty-stricken mindset. And I'm telling you, if you want wealth, if you want different forms of wealth where you have several streams of income, that's another thing I wanted to touch on too, is like if y'all are getting into trading to trade for the rest of your life, you didn't get into it for the right reason. You should be getting
Yep.
into trading to make money, to invest in other things, to invest in appreciating assets. And this is stuff that not many people talk about, to invest in appreciating assets, real estate, businesses, ventures. Like, yes, trading can be the bread and butter, and that's what can bring you up. But you should do every other thing you possibly can to make money too. Real estate's a great thing. Take that money, invest it in real estate houses, invest it in rental properties. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's not rocket science. Like you just gotta manage the wealth right. And to Andrew's point, I think a lot of traders have similar stories like that. Where it's like you first touch some bread, you want to just spend it. And that's how I know too. When I see people coming up in the game, I know who's who because I know who's got new money and who's touched some money before. And
Uh-huh.
and because I experienced that. I went and bought a 100K Benz, put 60K into it, started paying 7K for rent, moved to a freaking penthouse in Miami, was you know what I'm saying? And then I realized I was like, this ain't this is a good
Yo,
experience.
can we talk about that, guys?
I got
Yo, let's talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Can I add
It's
in something
crazy.
real quick?
People get ahead of themselves, bro. They get
Yo,
ahead of themselves. It's
Andrew,
like
I'm gonna
it's
give it. I'm
crazy.
gonna give it to you real quick. Josh, real quick, fam. Here's one thing I gotta say for just 30 seconds, and then Andrew, I want you to expound on that too. The reality of making money, having the lump sum, and then realizing that the reality of money is about 20 to 30 good or bad decisions away from losing it all. And the second part is turning up your lifestyle, and now you have to maintain your lifestyle.
Right.
Bruh, I bought my Tesla. I moved into a new spot. We was in Dubai last year. Did you went there too, right? No. That was the year before that. We was spending bread, fam. Let me tell you, by the time May came in last year, I'm like, yo, I need to slow down and I need to really manage my finances because I'm feeling it. You look at your bank statement, it's like, bro, that's a lot. Meanwhile, your favorite guru is getting their car repossessed because they're making $120,000 in sales and they're literally spending 110.
Right. Right.
And so every bad month that gets had, yo, they're struggling. They're on social media selling their ass. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Why? Because the whole idea of like marketing yourself to shits and not being smart ends up putting you right back to where you came from. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing here as traders.
Right.
And the OG traders back in the day, like in the early 2000s, the early 90s and 80s, these guys were established people. They were doctors, they were lawyers, they were like businessmen. And trading was just their way of making extra funds just so that they don't have to borrow more debt. So when you hear people online talking about, oh, yeah, well, he has other businesses. He's not just making money from trading. Yeah, duh. What you think? What you think you're supposed to do with money? Go make more money. And the thing about making money is like at some point when you have a high figure exit, you have to deal with yourself and heal. You literally have to go invest in less riskier assets because you finally made it and you don't want to go back to where you first came from. And a lot of people don't even understand that yet. Andrew, go ahead, Brody.
I was gonna say, let me take off my headphones real quick.
Okay. By the way, let's also let people know this year, please stop begging in our DMs. Like we're not here for that. It'd be a whole lot of people begging for accounts.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
well,
stop posting about profits I made because it's like
how
the
many times
begging.
somebody came up to you and said, "Yo, can I have $1? You got some spare
No, it ain't
change?"
even a dollar. I had somebody ask me for 40 bands one time.
No, I get it.
The
I'm just saying in
audacity.
the street, like on a
Now,
gas station, like
homelessness is something else.
it's just listen, people are always it's just human
The
beings by
DMs,
nature.
yes, but the fact that like every time we do lives like these, and then before you even ask me how my day is, you're already begging. Like, what's up with that? No, in 2026, Fortune's funding has standards, and so do the leaders that are actually holding the flag of Fortune's funding. Like, I don't want to look in my DMs and feel like all I have to read is sob stories. I want to see your progress. I want to get to know you, so
Yeah.
that way when we do see you guys in person and when we do world tours, that we get to have a good vibe about you. Now that you're gonna rob me and keep telling me about how like sad your situation is,
Yeah.
I just wanted to let that out there.
Yeah.
All right, y'all go
Yeah,
ahead.
I wanted to go ahead and say something piggybacking off of what Hans and Josh just said. As I'm finishing up my workout, I've been working out while listening to all the great information everyone's been saying. Um, Being the youngest on this panel, okay, I'm 23 years old. Uh, Social media has completely warped not only my mind, but the mind of young people in general. I have my 18-year-old brother telling me that he uses these words. I'm fucking poor because he's not making $100,000 a month because he sees supposedly people his age making that amount of money. Mind you, 6 months ago, my brother was in high school. I've given my brother the opportunity to now make $10,000 to $20,000 per month at the age of 18 years old without a college degree. He just dropped out of college 3 weeks ago. Okay, we come from a Middle Eastern background where that is unheard of. You don't do that. It's a disrespect to your family. So he's further ahead than most people are, even people in their 30s and 40s. Yeah, he thinks he's behind because he's comparing himself to everyone on social media. And for the longest time, I was also stuck in that realm, comparing myself. Okay. And I was making a lot of money, shit tons of money, 50K plus per month. And I was not buying anything to actually feel it. I was never pulling the money out. I was just dumping it back into trading, dumping it back into prop firms, dumping it back into God knows what, and losing it all. And I never really understand the value of the money that I had. I live with my parents. I don't need to move out. Bills are all paid. I have taken, I'm taking care of whatever I need to take care of. And I was almost, I'd say, living paycheck to paycheck, making more than the average American does. And it was all because I kept chasing a number on the screen. I'm not satisfied until I make 150K a month. That's the lie that I told myself. Oh, I can't help my parents until I'm making 150K a month. That's the lie that I told myself. Who told me I couldn't help my parents when I was making 10K a month? Even giving my father $500 a month. Why can't I do that? So me being off social media for the past week, I've gained so much clarity. I feel so much at peace to the point where, honestly, I don't even feel the need to go back. The only reason why I'd go back is because the community that I've been able to build off of there, it's worth it to me. The impact that I have on others, it's worth it to me. Being someone that's young and looking up to everyone, it's okay to slow down. It's like there's no rush. Like I'm literally in a different city every single month because I have the freedom to do so. And I'm, not, I have, my screen time has been less than an hour for the past week. And my screen time is normally 15 hours a day. And now I've just been like so detached. I don't give a, like one of my close friends just bought a Ferrari. He's 24 years old, 26 years old. My other best friend bought a 750S McLaren, about like 4 or 5 months ago. And I used to look at these people and be like, oh, why can't I be like that? Like, and it would just make me feel like shit every single day, you know? But at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. Like they post their car or whatever. No one cares after 24 hours.
And another thing to say, like when you get those things, it doesn't matter. Like it feels good for a little
It
bit,
does.
and then it's
It
no
doesn't matter.
fulfillment in it. Like you listen to people that have wealth, and they always talk about the most important thing are the people around you and the relationships you have. So
Are you healthy? Do you
yeah,
have a food? Do you have a roof over your head? Is your family taken care of? The most important thing is, are your parents still working? If the answer is yes, then you're not working hard enough. It's not about buying these cars, buying these watches, showing off. I wanted to buy like a $50,000 watch, and I was about to. After I received over 100K in payouts from Topstep before they banned me, I was gonna buy a watch, and I told James, I'm like, yo, I really want this watch. I got it. I found the exact one I wanted, and I was about to go put the deposit down and go pick it up. But then I asked myself, what is me buying this watch gonna do for me? Is it more of an ego stroke for when I walk around, people look at my wrist? Do I want just to garner more attention? Is it a status thing, or what is the reason behind it? There is no reason other than the fact that I wanted it just to flex. So for me, that's pointless. That 50K could be used for something more valuable, paying my parents' debts off, opening up a new business, buying some properties. And for the longest time, my dad told me, hey, my dad's an entrepreneur himself. He's had multiple businesses. He came from a foreign country at a young age with no money and built his way up and made a name for himself or whatever. And he told me, don't start buying dumb shit until your dumb shit is paid for through your investments. And I was like, it's fine. I can always make more money. I'll buy it anyways. And then here I am now. I'm the one that looks dumb, not having listened to what he told me before. I made almost $1 million last year and I have none of it left, like I was saying earlier. And it's not to shame myself or whatever, but, rather than having wisdom and learning from the mistakes of other people, I said, you know what? Let me burn myself a few times myself. Instead of saying, James told me, don't put your hand in the fire. It's going to burn you because I burned myself. No, I want to go burn myself. And sometimes that's just the way that we learn. And it's something that it took a couple years of fuck ups for me to get to this point where now I'm realizing, okay, especially now that I'm in a relationship, I'm planning on getting married soon, whatever. Like I'm thinking long term. Like I got to think of like my future and my family. Like I can't, it's okay for me to right now maybe to lose 30 racks in a day in a live account, but it's not okay when I have my kids to support. It ain't okay, especially when it comes from stupidity. Now, if I was risking 30K in a trade and I knew and acknowledged the risk and I have a lot of money, that's different. But when 30K is a more than 5% of my account,
Right.
and I lose that in one day over negligence, that's something that needs to be taken care of. Like Hans said, it's okay to make a mistake once or twice, but when you repeatedly make the same mistake again, you're obviously not learning from it. So going back to the entire point of this, what I was saying is that being young, okay, there's two great things of being, or a few things of being young that are amazing. One, we have plenty of time. Okay, there's no need to rush. Two, you can afford to make mistakes, because the responsibility that majority of young people have, I'm not gonna say all young people because everyone's circumstances are different, right? But the majority of young people have the crutch of maybe their parents, their extended family, whatever. Okay, you're not supporting a large family. You don't have crazy amounts of bills. Okay, again, that's not everybody, but majority. Okay, but then the cons, I guess, are that you want to be successful so fast that you start comparing yourself to others who are more successful than you. You don't know what the person next to you went through to get to where they currently are, right? You don't know. They might, like, for example, I'm looking at Josh and he said he turned $600, 30,000 in one day. I'm like, well, damn, that's $30,000 more than I have right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, he's also 10 years older than me. I don't know what he's been through. I
Hey,
don't know
no, I'm
what the
not.
struggles.
Hey, no, I'm not. Don't put that out there. I'm 27.
You right around the corner, big
I'm
dog.
4 years, 4 years, bro.
You unk Josh now.
Damn, he said you're old, bro.
But he's he's a lot older than me. That extra 4 years or 5 years of experience
It's a
definitely goes a
difference.
long way.
It's a
Yeah,
big
There's a
difference,
big
bro.
difference. You know,
Big
Yep,
he
difference.
it
has
is.
more life experience. He's been through a lot more. He's lost a lot more. He's been, the struggles that he's gone through are a lot more. So I
Right.
can't sit here and say, oh, why am I not in his situation? Because he worked his way up there, and it's all about submitting to the time and process. I literally got this tattoo. You can't probably see it right now, but it says submission of time. And one of my mentors used to say it all the time. He said, submit to the necessary time. It might take one person 6 months to accomplish something, and it might take another person 6 years to accomplish that same exact thing. But it's all dependent on your upbringing, how fast you're able to learn from your mistakes, and then just your ability to just adapt and keep moving forward. But as long as you stick to the necessary time it takes, I told myself when I was learning how to trade, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if it takes me 10 years. I'm gonna still trade until I figure it out. Because if,
Right.
if someone did it, I know I can too, because I'm no different than that person. Okay. But everybody just has a different way of learning, a different timeline in which God will allow things to happen. And sometimes the answers that you're looking for, the answers that you're forcing upon yourself, aren't the answers that you actually need and the answers that God will actually give you. He might give you some. It feels like I got hit with a bus the past 3, 4 months because it's just one thing after another happening to me. I get over 100,000 in payouts tonight from Top Step. They ban all my accounts. My banks, like, they won't. I had a whole entire case with my bank for like $20,000. They tell me no. My Instagram gets taken down. I'm getting sued left and right. Like, shit just keep. I blow a lot of money in my live account. Like, shit just keeps happening. Some of it's self-induced, other not. But it's like one thing after the other. And then now I'm given the opportunity, rather than sitting here and crying and complaining. God literally said, here, I'm giving you a break. Like, take your time and just start thinking of what you need to do moving forward. And, there's always going to be good out of a bad situation. And your outlook on life is always going to allow you to continue to progress forward. And, I'm going to start going off on a tangent here. But long story short, if you're young, you have time. Don't compare yourself. Everything's going to happen in its divine timing. All you need to do is just stick to the process, keep showing up, learn from your mistakes, and then most importantly, try to learn from the mistakes of other people, which goes back to what Hans was saying. Drop your ego, get a mentor, get someone who has more experience than you, who's been through the struggles that you're about to face, and I promise you everything will be smooth sailing. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
much the
And
answer
Yeah,
for
just
me.
well
just
done.
just
Well
to
done.
touch on that real quick. One of my mentors told me, and this has really, really, really stuck with me over the last year or so, is that the money's not yours. And what I mean by that is it's your kids, it's your grandkids, it's your unborn children's, it's your you even met your wife or husband yet. It's theirs, it's your mother's, it's your father's, it's your sisters, it's your brothers. It's not your money. So when you know it's not your money, you may move differently with it.
Yep.
So that was something that really resonated with me when I heard that, because I was like, damn, like I'm not trading my money. I'm trading my money that's gonna put my kids through school. I'm trading money that's gonna take care of my wife. I'm trading money that's gonna take care of my mother. I'm taking, you know what I'm saying? So when I heard that, it really resonated with me. And you start making different moves with your money. You start making investments for the long term, for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, instead of, oh, 5 minutes from now, look at this candle, it's going crazy. Like, get in, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's when I heard that, that really resonated with me, and I hope that resonates with somebody here. Because when I started looking at it like that, it really switched my mindset. Like, more investments, smarter trades, more investments. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Absolutely. I see James said, let's go to more charts. I did want to give a little bit of more technicals, and then Josh and Andrew, I'm not sure if you want to do so as well, but let me go ahead and share the screen one more time if you guys allow me. Okay,
Yep.
so as you
Real
guys
quick
heard,
before you get started, I'm
go
actually
ahead,
about to
brother.
head out.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
I'm about to go to dinner with my family. Next time we have one of these, I'm talking to James. I actually want us to do these more often. I'll be because I know a lot of people, especially in the future space. I want to teach you guys kind of my approach to just trading at prop firms in general.
Yep.
How to milk prop firms because I'm pretty capable of that. You know, let's try to dig deep in James's pockets and um, get these payouts. I'll help you guys as much as
damn.
possible. I'm trying to dig as far deep as
Everybody's
possible into
getting
James'
banned. You're
pockets.
all
All
getting
right,
banned.
hey, you can make an exit now, brother.
Nah, I'm kidding. I'm
That's
kidding. Everyone's getting
crazy.
paid
But
that deserves to get paid, but
yeah,
um,
yeah, I'll
naturally, just
definitely.
naturally, people will fail. That's just how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I definitely want to be able to help you guys as much as possible. Especially now, you know, I'm off of Instagram and stuff, so I'm going to be active in the community and active in Discord. I'll be also active on YouTube. I'm going to be dropping, well, at least I'm going to be trying to drop more frequent YouTube videos explaining kind of my approach to different types of drawdowns and whatnot. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for hosting me. Thank you for,
yo, everybody say W
fortunes.
Andrew, W Andrew.
W. Andrew, bro.
I'm about to
Yo,
head
I
out. Appreciate you
respect. Yo,
guys.
very real, very raw, very honest, bro. I respect that a lot. I really do.
Love it.
Thank you,
W
bro.
Andrew in the
Yeah,
chat. W Andrew
absolutely.
in the chat. All right. So for those
W.
of you
Andrew.
guys who have not followed our Instagram page, please go ahead and do so right now. Instagram.com/fortunes funding. We
Sure.
will be more active on that social media page.
Do
All
we want
right.
to do a quick like fire blasted Q&A from the chat?
Yeah, for
Just like
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
quick, because somebody was saying we didn't take any questions. So if you guys want to just blast questions in there, maybe we could just fire through them and get everybody's take quick, like 30-second, 1 minute response to everybody's question, and maybe, you know, give
Yeah.
some value that way.
Let's do it.
All right. Bet.
Let's get some questions, some good
Yeah,
ones.
while they're asking the questions, I'm going to go ahead and start breaking down the technicals real quick, and then we'll just do that while we're like answering the questions, just so we can keep doing what we're doing. All right, so one of my favorite asset classes to trade is gold. The reason why is like I don't like trading in London anymore because I live on the East Coast. It sucks to be waking up at 3 a.m. Okay. But if I have to, I will. I know James was coming. Uh yeah. Anyway, no homo. But so typically, one of the things that I do take advantage of when it comes to trading gold is the New York session volume that kicks in by 10 in the morning. The reason why I'm giving you guys these gems, is because we want y'all to, at least have certain strategies that you can hold on to. One thing that has stuck with me over the past couple of years is I always wanted to make sure that I can adapt, but at the same time, I had strategies that I can depend on over and over that I know repeats in the market. And so, one of my favorite strategies is when the market comes down to retest the London session in New York or pre-market New York. So I drop down into like the 1 hour after I do my analysis on the H4. And so I mark out my areas of interest, my demand zones and my supply zones. But since gold is mostly bullish, unless it reaches like a 4 hour structure high, it'll bounce twice and then it sells off and then it buys again. Now, as a trader who's considering to get their first payout with Fortune's funding, it is important to know how to be selective and know your setups so that way the quality outweighs the quantity. All right. Now, sometimes, even if you take a bad trade or the market did do you dirty, knowing that you have a setup that you can depend on the next day keeps you from trying to get revenge on the same day, even though there's nothing for you to trade at the time. But if you don't know how to be selective, you'll just find every opportunity as something for you to make your comeback trade. And one of the things that I don't know if I wrote it in the pillars is recovery trade psychology. You need to sit down sometimes and ask yourself, okay, I took a nasty loss. Like, for example, Andrew just told you guys about like losing 20, 30K. Well, some shit, there's been times I've lost 30. There's been times I've lost 20. Not that we're proud of that, but at least it shows a staple in our trading career where, wow, we're at a point where we're making, listen, losing, it's like a nasty cut that you take from battle. But when the battle scar heals, you get to tell people like how crazy this scar, the one that you're looking at right now, how you got it. But the thing about it is, whenever you lose, it really hits you and you feel it. Like sometimes I take days off and I'm like, bro, this is tough, man. But at some point, I have to sit there and plan out my recovery trade psychology, meaning how many days and how many times will I see my setup for me to depend on it and come back. And so for me, that is the previous day retest or the London session sweep. When I see the market come in, it'll probably just wick out the previous session in London. And by New York, I drop down into the 15-minute or the M5 waiting on a breaking retest. And by the time it's 9:45 or 10, it's either I was already in these positions around here or the break-in retest will be my bread and butter because then I'll be able to know exactly where to put my stop loss after the noise. And I'll be expecting at least 150 pips to 200 pips since gold is well able to do that. Now imagine you got a fresh trading account given by Fortune's Funding because you decided to be a bold guy. You decided to be a queen who trades and you want to get a payout from us. You're like, you know what? This is a setup that I'm going to take advantage of. Now, you do what you will with that information, all right? We're looking to see some certifications at the end of the month, every month. But you take a setup like this and you realize you have to put your stop loss around like 100 pips. How much are you risking? Is that going to be your 1%, your 2%, your half a percent? That's up to you to understand how to go about that risk based on your comfort level. So these are some of the ways that I trade my markets, my setups in the markets because I know I can depend on this setup on a Monday, on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday, and even if Friday shows up and I see the same setup, I'm taking it, right? Let's see if that setup showed up again on Friday. Right here on the 9th, right there, we noticed that the market came here, 7 a.m. Okay, that's still kind of London, right? I mark my charts. I use my trend line just to kind of like mark out my potential areas of interest that might be swept. We all know these are like liquidity target areas. And so when the market comes down to either dip, if I'm not comfortable, I'll wait for a breaking retest. And as I told you, I'll look for it on the 5-minute. Sometimes I might even drop down to the 1-minute just to see like what is price really doing so I can feel comfortable knowing that my best bet safety net is right under the London session after it's been swept. And by the time it's like 10, even on NFP, I'll just wait for the retest for me to enter and expect within 30 minutes at least for price to go around 150 to 200 pips. If I got 5 trades, listen, I'm going for that setup and I'm risking maybe 1% or 2% or less. So that way I know by the time it's like 7 to 10 profitable trading days, I will pass phase 1 or phase 2. And I'm doing the same thing while I'm funded. I'm not looking for anything else. And if I take a loss, I take a step back. So these are some of the things that I envision for you guys to have as a profitable trader going into 2026 to be able to have strategies. If you don't have them, it's going to be a struggle for you.
Let's do a couple questions right now because we got a bunch before. Josh, what is fuck you money to you? What is that? What is that?
That's interesting.
And Mike's muted.
Josh, you're muted.
Yeah, I think after 8 figures, I think you pretty much could tell somebody to fuck off. After about 8 figures, you don't need any opportunities. If you invest that money right, you'll be set for life. And to be honest, with different investments, if you got a couple mil, you invest it right, you'll be set for life. But those investments,
What about
not
you,
everybody knows
Hans?
about. But yeah.
So my answer is this. When I started paying a whole bunch of bills, and I was like, damn, bro, at what point will this be enough? And a little funny calculation came to my head. It's called your freedom number. The average American makes around $45,000 a year. And so I was like, okay, well, clearly that's not enough because a lot of people are struggling. But if we think about it in the sense of how old are you? If you're 30 or 25, you look at the average lifespan right now is 78. For James's family, it's like 110. These guys are vampires. But the point is, if you do how much the average lifespan is minus how old you are right now. So I'm 33, right? If I die by 80, I take 80. By the way, I'm here for a good time. I know James want to live past 100. I don't really know if that's something I want to do. But if I do, let's say 80 minus 33, that comes out to 47. And if you multiply that by twice the amount of the average person's yearly salary, it comes out to 80,000. So if you do 80,000 multiplied by 47, it's going to give you how much? I want y'all to do that math. It comes out to at least 3.8 million, right? So if you ever made about 4 to 5 million, that's fuck you money because you can afford to live off of a salary like 75 to 80,000 for the next 50 years, more or less. That would give you an idea of what fuck you money looks like. Anything above 5 to 10 million, if you have that in assets and liquid, at least 10% of that in liquid, then you're living life. You're living good, and that's the goal.
That's not calculating for inflation too, so keep that in mind.
Right. That's not
Yeah.
calculated for inflation.
True.
Yeah. So keep that in mind because and like and that's the thing, like
I mean,
your freedom number and your fuck you number, I think are two different things, in
yeah.
my opinion.
I mean, it
In my
depends also
opinion.
like what you value and how you want to live your
That's
life.
how you're gonna spend it.
For
Yeah.
me, I would just say
Yeah.
enough money to live without many limitations. Like, you're not flying private everywhere and staying at like, $5,000 a night hotels, but like you're living a very comfortable life. You can provide for yourself, provide for your family indefinitely. And like when I say your family, like your immediate family, your aunts, your uncles, your sisters, your cousins, your brothers, like take care of everybody, and you can live a very good life. Like you have cars, you have a nice house, maybe you got two houses, it's like things like that. I'd say probably in this day and age, like I'd say like 10 million on the low end. Like, yeah, you can live well on that. But you're not like, you're probably not going to live for 40 years, like never working or not having any investments whatsoever. I'd say like for me, 50 to $100 million is like, in cash investments, distributions, whatever, is a solid amount of money. Like, so I mean, listen, I mean, there's a lot of people on this call, I'm sure, that even $1 million probably could last them and their entire family for the rest of their lives. But I'd say like, if you're living in like an more affluent country, yeah, like probably 10 million. You park five in some proper, some metals and some high yield savings and things like that. You park 5 million, another 5 million in a couple houses, and you'll be all right.
Exactly.
Now let's go to another question. Is there a payout cap for the 10K challenge? I'm submitting the final details tonight to the team, but I don't think it's a smaller account. I don't think we're gonna do a payout cap on it, to be honest with you. Um, what type of investments? Shit, just sorry. Sorry, where did? Okay. What type of investments do you make after earning money from forex trading? For me, I like to buy. I mean, I like to buy things that are fun, and like I buy watches and cars and stuff like that. But I also have bought a couple properties. I've put some money into renovating a couple properties here locally. Nothing crazy. I'm not like some crazy, multi-million dollar real estate portfolio, but I did purchase an asset in cash, and I did, sink a considerable amount of money like into renovating it, and it's just like a good foundational asset to have, and then just reinvesting it into other businesses and things like that. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I'd say the same, real
Yeah.
estate, rental properties, um, and businesses. Yeah. And then maybe potentially depending on who you are, some cryptocurrencies as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
facts.
Yep. Yeah. For my case, when answering that question earlier, I was making it realistic for the audience. And just like
Yeah,
trading,
of course.
the thing is like once you start hitting 15, 20 million, a lot of the 8-figure, 9-figure mentors that I've talked to that I have personal access to, they always tell me, yo, bro, you got to just build a trust, have some holdings, have nothing in your name. And once you start touching 9 figures, you just got to expect those you just got to aggressively invest elsewhere and park your money so that way you can have it later on in life and create a salary for yourself and just like stay afloat. Use your credit cards, use your business uh, assets and revolving credit just to be able to live and do that. So everybody else who's like making above 30 to 50 around the age group, and I did see somebody say you forgot tax. I know it's trying to compress one statement just to be time sensitive is a lot. We're not doing a financials course class. We're just talking just for the sake of knowledge and value. Everything else is sold separately. By the way, we're not financial advisors. Trading does carry high risk. This is not a solicited advice. This is for educational purposes. You do what you will. Disclaimer. Um, I do envision, the 20 million mark, but that's going to have to become a goal where we're creating different solutions for multiple people, and that will be the exit for a legacy play. For example, right now we have AI, we have technology, uh, and this industry still has a lot of problems that we could find solutions for. For example, 90% of traders do lose 90% of their funds in 90 days, and so that's a big margin of people who need help, who need healing, who need psychology work, who need a lot of different ways and tools to be better. Um, if we're going to do it right, we just got to do it right. So I think what we need to focus on is scaling, have 10-year plans. And yes, crypto is important. Dollar cost average and just keep doing the thing.
Somebody said, how much time does it take to become a profitable trader? Obviously, we all get this question a lot, and I
Yeah.
think it's a bad question personally because it doesn't offer much value to you. It's like everyone's journey is going to be different, and also instead of asking how much time does it take, just say it's a better question to say, what do I have to do? What do I have to sacrifice? Like, how do I get there? Like, if you're really truly serious about this, it should be irrelevant how long it'll take because on the other side of doing this is the life that you want to live, right? So, how much time are you willing to sacrifice for it? Because for some people, it takes 6 months or a year to become profitable. Some people it takes 3 or 4 years. For me personally, it took me 3.5 years and losing $150,000 of money that I was making working a regular fucking job. So, but
Hmm.
my wherewithal and my vision for what I saw for my future was greater than the short term, oscillations of like, oh, I'm up, I'm down, like how long is this gonna take? Like, of course you're gonna get discouraged, right? You're gonna feel like maybe I can't do this. How long is this gonna take? At the end of the day, like that's not the right approach in my opinion. So yeah, better question is like, what do I have to do? What sacrifice do I have to make? What material do I have to learn? Like, how can I improve? And you're always it's a nonstop improvement. Your trading is something that you might be making money in a year, but you you have a long way to go. I don't care who you are. Like you can't learn everything you need to learn in just 1 year or even 2 years. Like probably I'd say after 3 to 4 years, you're like at like a medium intermediate level, and then you
Yep.
get to like a level of mastery. Like I'd say 5 years plus. Um, let's go to another question. You guys can take this one. Simple question. How does one effectively build patience in order not to fall into old bad habits?
Traffic. Nah, I mean, you can kind of tell if you're that person in traffic that's like, oh, motherfucker, what the hell? You're an impatient person.
Yeah.
And if you're that person that's on the 1 minute time frame going, scalp, 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 you're an impatient person. And I think just building habits that force you to wait. Not having instant gratification. Kind of going back to something Hans said, quit the fapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delay gratification in all areas of your life, whether that be eating food, relaxing on the couch, like go through your day and earn that, sitting down watching Netflix and having a good meal. Earn that throughout the day. That's delayed gratification. Some fasting, delayed gratification. A bunch of things like that. Just controlling your emotions, or if you're you usually have a short fuse with people, that you're close to or whatever, and you get this, you're quick to anger. Well, try to just be aware of that, and then once you're aware of it, you can change it, and then next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, I can control my emotions in this situation, then I can definitely do it on the chart. So, yeah, it's a holistic approach, how I see it with trading. It's kind of, you live how you trade and you trade how you live. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
for
think it
sure.
comes down to like really, like, after this call, like get up and go to your bathroom, go to your mirror, and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, like, what do I deserve for myself? Like, what do I see as myself? Like, am I worthy of the things that I want? If you removed yourself out of your body and you were God watching over your life and you had the button to press to grant all the blessings that you ever possibly wanted, would you grant yourself these blessings? Like, do you really deserve them? Are you really doing all the things that you need to do? Are you really sacrificing all your temptations, whether it's social media, porn, lust, drugs, food, right? Being slothness, like, not exercising, not taking care of your body, your temple. Like, are you really firing on all cylinders? Do you really deserve the life that you want? Because if you already said it yourself, right? Like, how do you not fall into the old bad habits? You identify them and you abstain from them. If you can't keep your own hand out of the cookie jar, you're nothing you can do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing Hans can do. Nothing Josh can do. Nothing your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your spouse. Nobody can do it for you. So you need to have a real conversation with yourself. And everybody loves the new year. Everybody loves January, right? It's like, if there's no better time in the world than right now to, like, as much as I hate the whole new year thing because it's all irrelevant, it's just an arbitrary time that it does nothing for you. All it does is set you up for failure because it gives you all these like emotional hits of dopamine, and then I said that today on my story, but yeah, it's like, what do you deserve? Like, what do you feel you deserve? And then create a character in your head of like the best version of you, right? Like the ultimate version of James, ultimate version of Josh. Like, what do they look like? What are they? How do they behave every day? From the moment they wake up, what type of behaviors are they avoiding? What type of behaviors are they indulging in? Healthy behaviors that the point is that, like, the future always comes. Like, so if you spend your present moment enjoying the present moment, you will hate the future. And if you spend your present moment preserving your future, you will, when you arrive at the future that always comes, you will be a very happy man or woman always.
Absolutely. I will answer a few questions that you just you basically expounded on, and it's like it's about answering that question the best way possible. For example, somebody says, how long should you expect? Well, at the end of each year, you should definitely have some checkpoints. You got to sit down, because I do this at the end of every year as a trader, because your data matters and it's nobody else's. How many accounts have been blown? Have there less accounts blown this year? Have we traded and given back profits more? Like, did we catch each other? Did we catch ourselves making the same mistakes? And how can we improve on that? By year three, year four, like, there should be some things that you have improved on and you realize is a benefactor to how much work you've put in. Have you put in 10,000 hours? Have you back tested? Were you able to document your trades? Well, and now we have Chat GPT. Like, you could process that with Chat GPT. You can export your files, your trading data from all these different prop firms and brokers, and ask Chat GPT, like, hey, what do you see? What patterns do you pick up out of my trading? What can I do from here? And really use those checkpoints to move forward to see how you're improving. And by a certain year, learn on scaling. If you were making, I don't know, $100 a week, see if those setups you've become more comfortable enough for you to scale up and size up. And when you do take big losses, just ask yourself, okay, based on the type of losses I've taken, will it take me about 5 to 10 trading days to get back to where I need to be? Have I mastered the art of understanding myself? Because all that is part of psychology and risk management, because you need to understand what type of trader you are in the first place and the type of trader that you have been noticing that you are. Sometimes we have this way of thinking like, yo, I'm the best trader, or I'm a good swing trader. And you realize most of your losses came from swings. So you have to know how to use your data accordingly to see what the vision is for the next year and year after that. That's how you need to metric yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a couple of more and we'll do some finalizations here and um I missed a
Oh,
couple.
that's a good one. How do you polish your profit taking or exit strategy? Anybody
Um
want to go first?
for me, I definitely had an issue. Like I never really had issues like entering the market or entries. I think, greed and just, you know, yeah, like over projection would cause me to stay in trades longer. So a big thing that helped me with managing trades was just establishing a simple rule. If
Yeah.
I enter a trade off the higher time frame and or I'm sorry, if my bias is determined off the higher time frame. If my entries are based on the lower time frame, um, just structure, right? If price is downtrending and it's making lower high, let's say on the 15-minute chart, every established lower high, just trail your stops, trail your stops, trail your stops. Like just create simple rules for yourself. The thing about it is most people place so much emphasis on the trade that they're in right now. Like it's like so super hyper focused on this trade right now. I gotta extract every dollar out of it because I'm never gonna get another good profitable trade again in my life. Zoom out, bro. Zoom out. Like everything is about sample size, so it's not about this one trade, it's about your next 100 trades. So if you always make the right decision every single time, you will have a positive expectancy from that, so just take your wins and losses. You're going to lose trades, you're going to get trades that you trail your stop, it hits your break even, and then it continues going forward. Just zoom out and go to the next trade. So I think that's a big thing is just having proper management rules, and then also having rules for you to withdraw money. Like if you're struggling, a good thing that I do with students that struggle with money management, I tell them, hey, put X amount of money, $1,000 in your account on Sunday night or Monday morning, and then trade that account for the entire week, and whatever you make on profit on Friday comes out of the account. You start the next week
Yep.
over with the same unit sizing, the same balance every week. That way your money management is predetermined every time. You're not trying to flip 1K to 10K and then the next week you're starting with 10K and then your emotions are going crazy. Start with the same amount every Monday, withdraw the remaining amount above the balance, the initial balance on Friday every single week, and do that for weeks on end. And that way you can collect proper data. And if you blow the account, well, you blew your account, and you don't deserve to trade for the rest of the week. That you got to sit on your hands for the rest of the week and start over again on Monday. I think that's a good way the good money management method.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah. And yeah, polishing profits, taking partials, like James said, stop loss break even or trailing stops, all that. I mean it's the same across the board, guys. Like for this particular question, like how to polish your profits, if you will, it's kind of the main answers there. Like that's it. Like there's, the psychology is everything, and just having that risk management strategy, like James said, and not putting too much emphasis on any one trade, like and that's something people have a hard time with too. Is just like I'm gonna I'm gonna hold silver to $100. It's like even though I believe silver is gonna go to $100, I'm what's the point of holding it there? I'll just get in between on those on the if I believe it's going up, okay, I'm gonna get in on the higher lows each time where it looks better. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. But I'm not gonna watch, I'm gonna at least take partials or set stop loss or trailing stop, like James said, say there's not too many ways to go about it. It's all risk management, and the basic risk management, that's what's going to keep you in this game for a long time, is actually understanding risk management and actually applying it and putting a system behind it that you don't break with rules. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna answer mine by sharing the screen one more time just to give you guys a practical example. One of my biggest weaknesses last year was the fact that I wanted to swing trade gold because I had big, big goals, right? I wanted to say that, man, I was able to hold a trade for like 4 months or whatever, because since the past couple of years, I've noticed that the market does rally end of October, November, and the end of December. But the way gold would like pull back so harshly, I would be in dumb profit. I'd be in like 1,000, 1,500 pips just floating. And there were times I'm thinking gold is actually gonna push higher and it'll make itself uh it'll rally towards like the recent 4 hour high, right? And it'll actually sell back down. So some of the things I would run into is being in profit and giving back a lot of it. So I had to create rules for myself in my exit strategy to know that if price is getting closer to a recent high, I don't care how many pips in profit I am and how I'm thinking price is going to go all the way to 4,700. I need to close majority partials and day after day move my stop loss, um, a select rubric of pips just so that way I can sleep better at night. Because the fact of the matter is sometimes you'll get a retest of the highs, failure swing, then come back at the point of interest so that the rally you're looking for happens. So what happens if you don't have any buffer? What happens when you realize, you know what, I'm not even in the right mindset to swing trade because my trigger finger is a little shy. So I understood that, you know what, you never go broke taking certain profits. And yes, even till this day, we do fear. I mean, we do feel the fear of missing out, but that's not enough to make me crash out anymore because I know the market is a market of abundance and the setups are coming, right? We have a break and retest. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get in again. And I feel a lot more grateful when I do close partials and I secure the bag. And instead of over trading, I over withdraw, right? I'll make 2 to 3 withdrawals out the
I
week.
like that.
So
I like
that way,
that.
if yeah, and if something happens, at least my takeaway is I took some money off the
I
table
think
instead
that's the
of giving
number
it to
one most underrated thing that people don't do is
yeah,
just making withdrawals. I traded for my
Agreed. Yep.
first, like I
Yep.
said, the first 3 to 4 years of my trading, I never made I made minimal with the only time I was really withdrawing money was after the account was blown and there was like a negligible amount of
yeah,
money left, to be honest with you. Like
and
I
that's
would
how we
do these
learn.
crazy 1,000%, 2,000% gains and I would never keep any of it. So
Bro,
if you're not making withdrawals at least like once in the month or once every week, like you're not paying yourself properly.
yeah. It's called realized gains for a reason, and
Yeah,
unrealized gains is just
yeah,
profit and
yeah,
screenshots.
and realized like in the sense of realized in your bank account because
Yeah,
yeah, the moment
Right.
you close it,
Exactly.
there's multiple steps to making a withdrawal. You got to take the
Right.
trade, you got to close the trade, you got to withdraw the money. It's got to go to your crypto account, your bank account, or whatever. Like there's a lot of steps to it. Some people will withdraw it to crypto and then they'll, but Bitcoin's bullish. I'm going to turn it into another trade. Like you're making another trade out of it. You need to get
Right.
the money
Right.
extracted from the trading account, put
Yeah.
it into your bank account, and enjoy it and live your life with it.
part of the reason why we don't withdraw enough is because we're seeing the social media how somebody took uh uh a marketing account to such and such amounts. It's like, what happened to the withdrawals along the way? And to be real, sometimes people don't know how to pay themselves because they don't have milestones, realistic milestones. You took 1,000 to 2,000. That's 100% return on interest, bro. And you should
Yeah.
count on yourself to be able to make it back and more. So pay yourself. You get to that point, take out some profits. You're gonna reward yourself at the end of the day, and it's gonna feel good. All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's do like one more question. We'll wrap it up and um, yeah. Let's uh, let's take one more. We already went over FOMO. Yeah, like of course we're human beings just like you. We're not immortals. Like we go through the same emotions, all the same things that you guys go through. We all go through there as well. Um, Between psychology and risk management, which one do you need to master first? Um, I would say you can't do either of them. I mean, we don't even this is a simple question, but I always say like trading is like baking a cake. You know, if every part of the cake is required to bake the cake properly, if you need 2 eggs, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of flour, if your psychology is flour and your risk management is butter, either one of them, if they're either one of them is off, your cake is coming out fucked up, and you don't have the proper cake, right? So everything needs to go hand in hand, and everything needs to be in proportion with one another. So you need to master all of them, but I would say that psychology is the single most important element of trading, because if this is not on point, it doesn't matter. You have the best strategy, the best risk management, the best, like, at some point you will fail, because you could have all the best intentions, but the worst executions.
After this call, we want you guys to make a small video about what you learned out of this whole entire
Yeah,
masterclass,
yeah.
and tag us, please, because for those of y'all in the Discord that are saying that, oh, we don't see too much activity. Okay, but we take that as a challenge, and we're gonna include you as part of the
Yeah, we're
content.
gonna be
Okay?
doing a lot of these, and yeah, if you, I'm gonna make a separate channel for YouTube lives,
Yep.
as well, and you guys can put yeah, that's a good idea, Hans. Like, put a video, just say, hey, I was on Fortune's Funny Live today, and this is what I learned. Pa
This
pa pa
is
pa
what I
pa pa
learned.
pa. You know,
Yep. Tag us. We'll
and
definitely repost, and
Yep.
they might as well post it in a Discord and a separate channel too, so we could use that and include them. For example, we want to do this. We want to do this challenge where, not a challenge, but we want to do this community. I for, okay, so basically, what we would love is for those of you guys who are getting your challenges, when you do receive them, to just make a quick video, be like, "Yo, what's up? I just got my 10K challenge from Fortune's Funding. Thank you so much, Fortune's Funding. Fortune favors the bold. Tag us on Instagram. We will repost. We want you guys to be part of our relaunch as much as possible. So, can we count on you guys to do that?
yeah, I think we can. Were the challenge types discussed? I did discuss them earlier in the call. I'll go over them really briefly, but we're gonna have it's either gonna be like 6 or 7 or 8 challenges to launch. Everything's getting finalized tonight, but basically on we're gonna have 4 Forex/CFD challenges and 4 futures challenges. We're gonna have on both sides one of them that's more expensive and very non-restrictive. No payout caps, no consistency rules, things like that. And we're gonna have challenges 2 and 3 are gonna be the first one's gonna be a 2 phase challenge. Then we're gonna have a more modern style, cheaper, a little bit more restrictive, a 1 and 2 phase challenge. And then we're gonna have two on both sides. We're gonna have instant funding as well. So there's no challenge, there's no phases. You purchase it, and you're directly funded, and whatever you make on there is what you can keep, essentially.
Yeah. Somebody said we'll hold interview on payout. We're gonna be flying traders out to take trips with us.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we'll do interviews on them, and they'll
Yeah, that's
talk about
something
how they
that
did it
we
and
we
stuff.
did
So yeah,
previously. Someone asked a question before as well, that ties into this, is that, like, well, what separates you? Like, what's different about this prop firm? Like, this prop firm, one, is created and run by legitimate traders. We understand what you go through as a trader. We understand, the pain points in the industry, and we understand, what makes sense for the traders, right? And obviously we're businessmen as well, so we understand the other side. At the end of the day, we have to have a profitable business, like, for it to sustain itself and for you to actually get paid out from. What's different about us is that we're real people, right? You're on a Zoom call with us right now, and I don't see Top Step, I don't see Apex, I don't see FTMO. I can't get on a call with the CEO. I can't, you can't get in a chat room and
exactly.
talk to him directly. I answer all of my DMs. I spend a lot of fucking time on Discord answering people. I answer the dumbest shit you would possibly see, but I answer it because I owe it to maybe at a certain point I won't be able to. I don't know, but right now I'm Elon Musk sleeping on the floor of the factory, making it possible for you all. So, like Josh just said, we're going to be I think we're going to do it every quarter, every 3 months. We're going to take the top 5 traders for that period of time. And we're going to host a company retreat. We'll fly out all the traders, fly out the ambassadors, visit videographers. We'll be shooting podcasts with all of the traders that we have. And we're gonna have a great time. Showcase a little bit of the lifestyle and just what's really possible on the other side of conquering yourself and becoming a profitable trader. So I have a lot of cool ideas that I plan on executing and that we did previously execute. And yeah, it's just gonna be a real deeply rooted community. Like I want to be like standing at the front line of battle with all of you, like right next to you guys. That's the plan. So yeah, I'm very excited. I don't let my demeanor fool you because I honestly only slept like 3 hours, but I'm super tired. I've been working on this shit every day, all day, like for a long time now. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited to bring it to you all.
This energy wouldn't have happened without your boys. You got to include that, man.
Yeah, yeah, of course. No, I can't do it without anybody that's a part of this whole thing. Like you all are equally as important as I am, and I'm just I just happen to be at the front of the line, like but we're all in the same fucking line together.
Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly. Who's excited to watch the impending Fortunes Funding podcast episodes that will be dropping really soon? I want to see how excited you are. Are you guys even subscribed to this channel? Like we're giving you guys gems for
Yeah,
free.
I mean
The least you can
this
do
is
is
my like
subscribe.
personal YouTube, but I'm gonna get the Fortunes Funding YouTube. We're gonna be doing live streams. Someone just asked, will we be doing live streams? Yeah, we're gonna be doing plenty of live streams. We're gonna have live trading schedules like every week. Everyone will be able to trade live and join the sessions and everything like that. So, yeah, I think that
Pretty much wraps it
might
up.
wrap it
Yep.
up. Yeah, it might conclude it. This is a very impromptu thing, so we're gonna be doing more like regularly scheduled sessions. But I just wanted to, I know we're a bit delayed on the launch and everything, so but we're coming soon, very soon. We got a couple more days left, and I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys coming out. And yeah, stay posted on the Instagram, stay posted in the Discord. It's gonna be everything will be dropping very, very soon, like James said. So
Yeah.
yeah, be ready. Be ready. So yeah.
Thank you everyone for your
Don't
time.
forget, post what your favorite moment of this podcast or live was and what you learned from it because we want to hear your feedback. We want to know that we fed and this was not just because we were 3 handsome men on a call. That's not what this is about. All right. This is about fortunes and the value that goes back to you. So guys, remember Fortunes Funding. Fortunes favors what?
The bull, baby.
Fortune favors the
Boom.
Yeah, we need like a war chant for that.
We need to all dress up as like barbarians or something.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I thank you everyone for your time. I know that was long-winded. But yeah, we'll be doing more of these in the future, and I look forward to connecting with all of you in this coming year. It's gonna be an amazing, fruitful year. We're gonna have not even just our best trade. We're gonna be flying people out randomly. I just want to pick somebody up from wherever the fuck they are and just drop them in like a whole crazy environment.
Just make sure you got an airport wherever you live.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can make arrangements. We can make arrangements. So, all right. I appreciate
Sweet.
you all. You all have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Hans. Thank you, Josh, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll be talking soon.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Stream.
Everyone
Peace
have a
out.
nice day. Thank you.
You too.